to find her lying beside my bed. I softly said, come take me. For I feel lonely, in need of someone, as though I've done someone wrong somewhere, but I don't know where. I don't know where. Come lately. You are the sun, I am the moon. You are the words, I am the tune. Play me. Song she sang to me, song she bring to me, words that rang in me, rhyme that sprang from me and warmed the night. And what was right.
My name is Fort Cunningham,
became
and I'm here with the world's oldest man because we don't go by linear time on this show, and you're somewhere up in the 360 year range, I think, Thom.
I think so. It was 330 last week, so it's probably about
Yeah.
360 this week. Yeah. Yeah.
As we all know, as we all say and know, the Sasquatch linear time is just an invention of man for the purpose of points of reference. And I've experienced that too from being in that state, that dimension where the Sasquatch resides. So it's a real thing. So you're an old guy, but you're looking pretty good for 360 some odd years old, I must say.
Well,
Go ahead.
that's it's 360, so kind of a nice round number.
Yeah, yeah. I like your t-shirt today too.
Well, that's a cool one. Yeah. It's a pretty good one.
Is that a new one from
It's hard to find bell-bottom shirts.
bottom shirt? Is that a new one from
Oh, it's not
your
real.
last
Not real new. I've had it a while.
Okay. Well, it's a good one.
Uh-huh.
So Holly Kutz Burns, how are you today, my dear?
I am great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's been
Yeah.
it's our pleasure. I want you to know that. If you weren't here, I'd have to talk to him. And
Well, once in a while we have a whole show and we do pretty good. We get all our pictures out and everything and start
Yeah.
talking about our experiences, and it entertains us anyway. I'll say
Tell
that
us a
much.
little tell us a little bit about Holly. Where do you come from and where do you live and what do you do?
Okay. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I grew up in North Dakota until I was 22, and I have two grown children and one grandchild. I moved here in 1990 with my husband and one child, and then we raised our family here in Minneapolis. So I've actually lived in Minneapolis now longer than I have in my home state of North Dakota.
Mhm.
I worked as a decorative painter in the 1990s when I was raising my children, which was great. So I've been self-employed since the 90s. That's kind of just who I am. And so I'm an artist. I still did a little bit of that up till this last year. I kind of scaled it back because in 2006 I had, 2005 I had an experience where I was actually on a horse trip with my friend Beth, and we were out in Medora, North Dakota, which is actually where I work with the clan now. And we were out there, and I heard a voice in the back of in the side of my ear say "Holly" outside my ear, and I turned around super fast because I thought I had just closed the door in Beth's face, even though I knew I hadn't, because I had just closed the door and gone in my bedroom, and I knew she wasn't back there. But we had been just speaking in the hallway, and then we both went to our own rooms to change to go out to dinner. And so I didn't know who that was. And so I went to seek out who that was. And back in that day, I didn't know how to find, and I wasn't doing my own, like I said, I was just normal Holly back then. So then a year later, I went to this thing called the Edge Life Expo in Minneapolis, which is a huge holistic psychic fair, and what's basically kind of all holistic type things and on the edge. I guess I don't know if I should use the word metaphysical fair or not, because maybe that's proper, maybe that's not, but anyway, so I went there, and Beth came with me. And we went there. I went there to find out who said Holly in the side of my ear like that. And it was like a whisper. It was like I felt the breath of air on my ear. And so I went there, and the person facilitating the reading said that was my spirit guide. And I said, "My spirit what?" I didn't even know what that was.
Mm-hmm.
I never even heard that word in my whole life. I was just completely in the little North Dakota, totally conservative bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have the internet, till I moved here to Minneapolis, so we didn't connect with people like we do now, right? And so from there on out, it was kind of crazy. He's like, okay, so I got to know my spirit guide for a year, really working intently with him, and his name is, well, I don't know for sure, but I was sleeping once and he showed me the letters A-N-D. It was either A-N-D-E-R or A-N-D-R-E, and I don't know which one it was, so I just went with A-N-D-E-R, so I call him Ander. And then during that course of that year, there was this little voice in the back of my head that would always be a group of souls that would like kind of commentate on everything going on. And then they kind of came louder into my focus in 2007, and I realized there was this group of souls that are like here all the time that never go
Mm-hmm.
away, and I kind of started respecting who they were, and then those have become to know who I call the elders, and they asked me to take a journey in 2007 by way of a uh, kind of like the same kind of like when people explain when you die and you have the light, the tunnel of light in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and you go into the tunnel. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that. They like showed me a tunnel of light, and it was like inviting me, like angels calling, like la,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, do you want to enter? Do you want to take this journey of? And it was like described to me as a journey of personal expansion, and I was really excited to be the the most expanded version of me I could be. So I said, yes, I will take that journey. That sounds great to me. And then I made a few private soul contracts with them about personal things that I wanted to make sure were parameters in the soul contract, which they agreed to. And so then off I went. And then after that, my life became a roller coaster. Um, then they shut down all my decorative painting work for a whole month, which was absolutely psychotically scary for me, because I had a family to raise, and I was used to making about I I think I was average. My business was making like I was grossing like 10,000 a month, and I paid a couple of people to work for me. So, and I had expenses on top of that. But still, I mean, I was like always making at least $6,000 a month. Uh, just for me, right? And this is 20 years ago. So, that was a lot of money I needed to raise my family with. And then boom, just like, whoa, just shoot, just nothing came in for like 6 weeks. And then they led me to these books to read, which were the books Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls, which gave me the groundwork information for my entire journey, and it was just life changing for me. So I spent my time reading those books and realizing this is what they they wanted me to focus on, and it was all about the souls that are on the other side, well, people uh accessing their higher selves consciousness, because we have a division between our higher selves and our lower selves as human beings here, but we all have a higher self, which is our complete soul self, and we're just sending a portion of our energy down here to be incarnated, and so are the Sasquatches. We could be friends with the Sasquatch people. For all we know, they are our best friends in between our lives, because we are souls eternally, and we just choose to incarnate where we want to incarnate in our incarnations. So I don't think humans on earth think of Sasquatches as possibly being their sister souls, but they probably are. So especially if you're working closely with one. So I learned all these concepts and all these things from that. And another big thing they taught me, those books taught me, was not to fear, because fear is what pretty much holds us back with almost everything in our incarnations. It's always fear is the barrier. And so that was like, I vowed to not let fear stop me and to just put 100% into what they asked me to do. So that created an even more intense roller coaster, because they asked me to start ramping up things in my life that normally I would have said, no, I don't dare do that. That's too scary for me. So they asked me to step a little closer and a little closer to the cliff, right? And then in 2016, they said, well, yeah, they want me to tell you this. Well, the first thing they asked me to do after I read those books was they asked me to stop actively soliciting business for my decorative painting business, and to allow them to bring me the business as I was supposed to have it, and to focus my work on what I was supposed to be doing, that they wanted me to do. So I started shifting my focuses, and that was really scary to do too. But I had made this vow: I'm going to do everything 100% how they asked me, without fear, right? So that started this journey of this whole consciousness stuff and what I'm doing now. And in 2016, they told me to start helping others. I had started helping my friends, working with my guides and translating for them, messages for them and stuff. I'd been doing that for like 10 years, but then they asked me to start doing this for a job. And I was like, wait a minute. No, the plan is I write a book first about my journey. I finish my journey. I write a book about my journey, and then I go out and become a speaker and tell people about my journey. And they're like, no, you start now and you go out and you go work professionally as a psychic medium right now. And I'm like, well, that's not in my plans. And they're like, well, good luck getting the decorative painting business back up and running now, since it's almost dead. It's going to take me a year. And I'm like, oh, that's going to take me a freaking year. If I need to get that back up and running again, that's going to take me a whole year. I guess I have no choice, just to, pick one of the two. So I picked this one, and it's been great. I mean, this is totally what I'm supposed to be doing. So then I was just starting that as a business and working with them. And remember, I'd been working with them for 10 years at that point. So we had a lot, they had taught me all things about another thing they specialize in is law of attraction. So they led me to all the works and teachings of Abraham Hicks, which is basically exactly the same teachings that the elders teach me, except for it's somebody, translating for Abraham that speaks in English all day long, so I can get more information. And then her name is Esther Hicks. And so I started listening to everything about that. And over the same year that I was starting this work professionally, working with people with their consciousnesses and helping them become their most expanded selves, bam, in comes my first Sasquatch encounter. So that's kind of how it all started for me. It all just went at the same time. And I had no idea. I didn't know anything about Sasquatches when I had my first encounter. So it's been pretty crazy and pretty cool ever since then.
Let's hear about that, but I have a question
Yeah.
about what you've already said.
Okay.
Just because I've heard this a lot lately, and I don't know, it's on topic in a way and it's a little off topic, but I think it's relevant. I've heard this a lot lately. A lot of people are saying that when you die and you see the light, that going into the light is a reincarnation trap. Have you heard that? What do you think
Oh,
of that?
no. Mm-mm. No.
You've heard that though, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't heard that. Okay.
No, but no, it's not. No. Okay. So now this is my belief system, but it's also what's been compiled from over, I think it was 20,000 people that the author of Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls, Michael Newton, interviewed before he even wrote the first book, Journey of Souls. And what happens is we go back to our home. Like when we die, we go back to our home, which is, as people would say, heaven, or the plane of reality that's not this simulated 3D experience that we're temporarily doing down here, right? It's our eternal home as souls. We all go back there. We all
And
go back there.
and everybody says that it's more real than feels more real than this.
That's
And
our
this
real
is yeah,
home. It took me
right.
6 months it took me 6 months to feel connected to Earth. When I started reading that first book, I just floated around for 6 months. I'm like, what? This is, oh my God. Like, why am I even here? Like, my whole reason for being is up there and expanding as a soul up there and becoming all I can be up there. Then why am I even here? But then I figured it out. We're here because what we do here expands ourselves up there. It
Exactly.
it changes us
Yeah.
and creates us to be the most expanded soul being that we can be. So it's
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah, because we take our lessons
Pretty
up
cool.
there, right? We take our lessons and they, all our lifetimes and our experiences accumulate. And so they,
Yeah. Those
that's,
elders, yes. Yeah, there's a council of
it's growth. It's school and it's growth, right? Yeah.
yeah, there's a council of elder souls that works with us in between our lives that I'm not sure if the elders are those guys or I'm not sure exactly who they are. But they could be. But there's a council of elders that they actually plan our lives for us, and it's up to us. They're saying to let you know it's up to you guys if you want to come back to Earth or not. So you all go back home. We all go back home, and then if we want to come back again here, then we start thinking about what we want. As we think about what we want up there for our next experience, then it starts being designed into a life for us. So let's say we want to come back to Earth again, we want to do something here and connect, then we will start doing that here. They'll think about what they want us to do in our lives and they'll start creating it. And then they give us three choices of lives: easy, medium, or hard in the next life. And then
I'll take easy.
yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. A lot of people do take a resting life after, several hard lives. And so, yeah, so we go back home, and then it's up to us. If we decide we want to come back here again, then we come back here again. But it's our plan and it's our choice to come back. There's nothing that's ever against our will. Like, we don't get stuck in some sort of trap and we're off there. No.
Do, do we ever come back as something other than human?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is we are all just souls and we can become anything we want. We like I said, we can incarnate as a Sasquatch. Well, the
Okay,
Sasquatch just said we are.
yeah,
They're
because I,
just souls. They're souls just like us, and they're having an experience in this
Yeah.
lifetime as a Sasquatch.
right,
And we're having one as a different kind of human. We're just two different kinds of humans.
that's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me tell you an interesting experience I had that
Okay.
I know you'll appreciate this. I've talked about it before. I'll keep it brief. But I've had some profound kind of downloads and experiences that, the teachers, Sasquatch, I mostly
Yeah.
have given me. And I had something like this happen twice. So I was just standing on my back porch, looking out towards the woods. All of a sudden, it wasn't in my mind's eye, I was in another reality. I was totally there. And I saw myself in a sterile white room with a friend of mine that I know from this time, and it was a knowing. I didn't wasn't like facial recognition or anything. I just had a knowing what I was doing, and I had a knowing who was there. And we were there pre this birth, like pre-birth, planning what we were going to do in this incarnation. And it was like a white table. We were all in white. It was the
Yes.
walls were white. It was and yeah, and I saw myself planning, and this is an important incarnation for everybody.
Yep.
And and people who are representing Sasquatch and doing this kind of work is very important for us. So
Yeah.
uh, that kind of that another experience kind of showed me that there is another side, and that you
Oh
realize.
yeah. Yeah, I just forgot about that part. Like, oh yeah, that's a big piece of proof for that as well. Although of course the people that don't believe would just say, "Oh, you can the brain can concoct these things." Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. But no. So that's super super cool. We have what we call life books. And the life books contain all of our lives in that book. And we have a pre life planning session, and and then before we choose our life, we And we do like
Mhm.
interact with souls again and again and again and again. Like obviously you two guys have had many lives together and you know each other super well as souls from many other incarnations as well as this one. And so we are shown our lives. The three that they give us to choose from, we're shown them in like this big viewing room. Like they call us telepathically. They say, okay, come on over, you know, it's time for you to look at your lives. And then we go to this viewing room and it's like a big theater. And then your life plays on the screen. And then if you want to test it out, you can actually like go down into that life and like feel what it's like to be in that life for a minute. But they don't show you the whole life. They only show you parts of the life. They don't show you everything and they don't tell you everything ahead of time because there's also free will involved. So once you get down here,
Sure.
you can change it all up with your free will as well. But that's what you were doing. You were obviously working on the finer details and you already knew you were going to work with that friend in this life and you guys had planned to come down here and do your work
Mhm.
together. It's so
Well,
fun.
I knew it was a planning. I had a knowing exactly what it was, that we were planning whatever was gonna happen in this lifetime,
Mhm.
yeah.
He's
And so
one, he's one of those people that when I met him the first time, I knew that I knew him before somewhere. You
that's
know,
what I was going to say next. I was going to say that if you guys feel like you have a lot of people in your lives that you're like, wait a minute, like I feel like I already know you. I started having that experience when I was reading Journey of Souls. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, now I would say this person I knew. And I had like a list of 20 people at least. And then as I read on and read through the book Destiny of Souls as well, I figured out, okay, that is right. We can
Mhm.
have 100 souls that we reincarnate with again and again and again. We do
Mhm.
have a group, like we have a close soul group of like 5 souls to 15 souls. Those are like our close family members. They're usually our spouses are in there. And then we have that's usually like 5 to 10 souls. And then like 15 souls or more. I have to go back and review the numbers, but it's like around 15 souls or 20 souls somewhere in there. It's like those will be like the people that are close to us, but one generation up or down from us, like our children, our parents, our
Mhm.
grandparents that we're close with. Um, that can be so like, there's like a close knit group of like only maybe 20 different souls that we do a lot of incarnations with that are really close to us. And
Mhm.
then we go up to as much as a soul group of about 100 souls, and they can be like an influential teacher in junior high
Mhm.
or a coach
Yeah,
or something like that. So you can go through your and then we also have they want me to tell you this that they also have like they pointed to my necklace. So like they also have like a soul sign thing. So like when you meet each other, you'll remember. So they'll do like
Mhm.
they call it a red flag item. They'll be like, okay, you'll be wearing you'll be wearing this one cross necklace, and they show it to us ahead of time before we incarnate. Okay, I got it. And so that when you see
mm,
her wearing that cross necklace, you know then to go up and say hi to her. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. But we don't know all that when we come down here. We're just like do do, you know. We're just doing our autopilot stuff
Yeah.
down
yeah,
here.
I've definitely felt that with certain people, like you instantly know that you've known them for forever, like my wife, and certain other individuals. I was gonna say, I was surprised Tom mentioned me though, because I would have thought that all the people that he knew instantly were women.
A good,
Ah,
a good portion of them are, yes.
Yeah,
well, you
Uh,
could be in that 100 souls. You might not have made the top 10. You don't know, Brian. You could be
yeah.
in the 100.
yeah.
The
It's like
first
I don't have to look
88.
for any men in my top 10. They're all
Yeah.
If,
females.
if
Yeah,
I am in his top 10, I'm the only one of my
right.
gender. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, that's so funny. I could totally see that too. I can totally see that. Yeah, that's just great. And I can get that both you guys are really really old souls as well. And they don't use the word old up there or new. They just say like more they don't even they said you can't put it into English. Yeah, like it's but we do advance. Like we do but when we're first born, we have a certain color to our aura, and then as we progress in our consciousness from our experiences down here on Earth and what we do up there combined, we do change colors and we go up through the color scale. When we're first born, we're like white, and then we go to like light orange, and then through the reds, through red, and then I forget what's in the middle, but when we get to be an older soul, our aura is like up there, not down here on earth. This is our other side aura is like a
Yeah.
greens, and then it goes into uh indigo and like a deep purple. And that's so we do have differences in our vibrations and our frequencies as we go
Mhm.
through our experiences here as souls and get to the level that we want to get to. And I can just feel when I'm around people that are old souls, and I can tell you guys are both really definitely not new to coming.
No, no. Okay. I'd like to tell you a related story to you. I've done a lot of genealogy work over the years. I spent 4 or 5 years doing it quite uh, in depth. And my second great grandfather, Stephen Cantrell, I spent a lot of time chasing him. He born in Indiana, raised in Illinois, um, made 3 trips to Oregon by the time he was 18. And when I finally, his first homestead was in Southern Oregon, down near Medford. Then this ranch is in northeastern California in Modoc County. And then he went from there after his wife died up to Idaho, north of Boise, about 50 miles. And that was his last homestead there. He passed away there and is buried in that area. So as you can see, I did a lot of trailing around with Stephen before I got to the end of the trail. And I was sitting there at the old homestead in Idaho, this place called Round Valley. And I, believe it or not, was sitting in the outhouse. And I just thought to myself, kind of out loud, wow, I've spent some years and traveled a lot of miles to trace your life, but I finally got it all the way through. And very distinctly, the voice came back, "Thank you, Thom." And, you know, he's always held a very special, close part in my life. He and his wife, Mary. Um, yeah,
I think you were involved in that life too, some way. I
I
think
think
you knew him in
that's what
that
I'm
life.
thinking.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying.
think,
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if you were him in that lifetime. But when he said thank you, Thom, I was kind of getting a blip of that you were maybe a younger generation than him in that
mm-hmm,
lifetime, and
mm-hmm,
so you really respected him and knew him then. Maybe a grandson I'm getting, or a son, or I think I'm getting a generation down from him, but I'd
mm-hmm.
have to tune in a little bit deeper on it. But I
That's
definitely feel you
cool.
have a strong connection. Did you have any soul memories when you were there? Did it feel like you were kind of in this familiar place, or did it kind
Oh
of
yeah,
your
yeah,
brain?
yeah. I'd never been there before in my life and just felt like home.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to. Sometime if you want to, we can do a reading on that for you and pull some cards on it, and I can get some more details,
Okay,
and
I'd like that. I'd like that.
that would be really
Now,
fun. We'll totally do that.
now tell me about your first Sasquatch.
Okay, so I was a nomad for a while in my life, kind of still, I guess I would still say that I am now. And so due to change in marital status, so I was needing a place to live since I had to leave my hobby farm that I had with my husband. So I was working as an on-site caretaker, so I could have my 2 horses and my 4 cats with me. So we all took off, and I was enjoying so much having all this time outside because I'm really an outside person. I really need to be outside a lot. I'm used to being outside a lot from doing horse chores. So I was so excited to be able to have my horses with me, be able to be their caregiver, and had been doing a lot outside to improve the property for the lives of the horses. And I had been outside all evening, and I had been there for 3 weeks, and I'd been outside all evening working. And I decided it was just enough daylight left that I could see if there was a way to cut through this patch of woods to the other side of the woods, because there was another horse pasture on that side, but there was no way to connect them to the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to just turn the horses out from the corral and have a small lane where I could turn them out to that pasture if I wanted to. Otherwise, I have to hand lead them around and they can't come back for water or
Mm-hmm.
anything. So it was really a useless pasture unless it was connected up in that way. Otherwise, there was another dumb way to go, but it was way around through another pasture. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I got enough time to do that. I think it's oh yeah, it's 8:45. I got just enough daylight until dark. I think I'm gonna head through and see if I can find a way where I could put some fence tape up through the woods without
Mhm.
having to use a chainsaw or anything, because I don't do chainsaws. So off I go. I jump up over a big tall log I have to climb up on, like the kid from Family Circus, where he's going through and they have the dotted line all the way through the neighborhood of everywhere he's been, right? So I jump up on a log and I jump down to the other side of the log, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of darker in the woods than it was out in the pasture. I think I'm gonna flip the flashlight on my phone. Boom, flip my flashlight on, show like this. I put it out like this to the woods to look for my path and what would be a good place to go with the fence tape, and boom, there's a piece of garbage. Oh, garbage in the woods. Oh, it looks like a reflector. I think it's a one of those hardware oval shaped reflectors. Yeah, but wait, there's another reflector. It's exactly even with the first reflector. What the heck is going on? Well, an owl? I mean, maybe that's an owl. Bam! I get hit with this energy stream of like, I had no time to think, no time to react, and I'm like, whoa! And he's like, and he hits you with this energy stream, like a stream of thought. He didn't use words, even though I could have easily used words, since I, got these guys that talk to me all day long and I'm doing readings for other people. But he didn't use words. He just gave a woof energy stream, and it was just like, boom, and it was like, I am the boss around here. I am way smarter than you. We are so way ahead of you. Like, look at you. You've been here 3 weeks. You have no idea we're even here. Like, you are so naive and oblivious, you human woman, you. But, I guess we'll have to tell you we're here because you're so oblivious you're never going to figure it out on your own. Well, we're just gonna have to tell you. And I was just like, and when he said we, I imagined him and this family of people that were behind him to the north. And that actually was forest, government forest. So
Mhm.
I did get that correctly, I think, at that time. And so I was like, wow. And while he was talking the river of thought, I was thinking at the same time, because I'm really good at thinking like two streams or three streams of thought at the same time. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a Sasquatch. What? I'm talking to a real Sasquatch in person? This is a dream come true. Are you kidding me? Like, I watched every episode of Finding Bigfoot and I wanted to see one so bad. And here I am. I'm talking to a but wait, Bigfoots talk? Wait, they, he does what? Now, I have had animals do that to me before. Like, I was at an eagle center once, and a golden eagle just started, bam, did the same thing. He just started sending me a stream of thought, and it was actually about my journey. He was talking to me
Mhm.
about my journey, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're an eagle. How do you know about my journey, dude? So, like, I do that sometimes. So I was like, okay. And so at the moment, I was so taken aback. And so, I did have enough Finding Bigfoot training to remember to mark the things around him so I could come back and reenact it. And so I noticed exactly where his eyes were, next to the tree. And so I was thinking to myself, don't act scared. Don't freak out, Holly. Be calm. Be calm. And because I'm alone by myself, nobody else around for miles, and I'm here talking to a Sasquatch in the woods. And like I said, I did not know anything about them. I didn't know they were sentient beings. I did not know they were people. Nothing.
Mhm.
So that's what happened. And then I told myself to act calm, and so I just talked back to him. I just said, okay, nice to meet you. That's what I said. I said, nice to meet you. Well, okay then. All right. Well, see you later then. And then, because then I like kept walking to go find my path through the woods. Total idiot, right? I mean, but now I didn't know back then that I can sit and talk to them like people, remember? So I thought, I was just so shocked by the entire experience. And I didn't know to just sit here and stare back at the Sasquatch and have a conversation. He was just so intimidating to me. And I was just thinking about not panicking. So I turned to my right and I took a couple of steps, and they actually were bringing me immediately behind a very large bush where I could not see him anymore and he could not see me anymore. And as soon as I took each step with my foot, 1, 2, he snapped a branch, 1, 2. And then I stopped again. And I was like, dude, he knew how how did he know where my feet? He can't see me like that. Because I didn't know they could do all that either. And so I was just froze for a minute in my tracks. And I went, okay, well, I'm not going to let him intimidate me. I'm not going to be scared of him. And so I took like 10 more steps to the edge of the woods. And then I promptly said, oh, okay. Well, there's the woods. All right. Well, okay, I'm done. I'm going back. So I turned around, and when I went back out from behind that big bush again, I dared to look his way, and I looked his way, and there was nothing. And I could feel his energy had gone, and I went, wait a minute. I did not hear a thing, not a branch on the ground. I mean, I have tried to walk like them. I've tried to walk quietly through the woods like they do. I can't do it for more than 5 steps without hitting something that makes a noise. How he exited the entire woods without I didn't know any of that either. So that was all demonstrated to me. 9 years later, though, I realized the real message. As I was actually writing my contribution to your book, I realized, like, I've fully realized the entire full other frequency of the other message. And that was I realized that they teach consciousness lessons to people. Like, that's a big thing of what they do. And that he was really saying to me, I'm here to activate you. I'm here to activate you to understand who we are and understand fully what your soul contract is with us in this lifetime. That's what he was really saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool how it's 2 complete different levels. And they just said to tell you, and that's why we did it that way, because humans, I just got another level of understanding about it. Because humans will take their experiences for what they are on the surface with Sasquatches, and then they'll say it was scary, and then they'll say that they were aggressive to them. But really, they're doing this whole other thing down here, a whole nother message down here, and that we have to be on the frequencies of the messages in order to receive them wholly. So that's why they designed mine to be that way. They designed mine to be an intimidating, boisterous way. So I could either break through that barrier and see the whole thing, or I could just say, that was so scary. I saw scary stuff. I'm not going to go in the woods again. I can't be here alone. I must have someone else with me. There's no way. I can't be a caretaker anymore. I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that they gave you some kind of energy to calm you down while you were there? Or were you just
No.
naturally?
No, he didn't at all. He was trying to rile me up, because that was his point. His point of the message was to intimidate and be this character. He just said, yeah, I was playing a character. He was playing the character of the intimidating Sasquatch. He didn't help me out at all. And he said, we couldn't help you at all. You had to do this on your own with your own consciousness, because that was the lessons that you can teach other people later in the future. But my own higher self calmed me down.
He probably was teaching you a lesson in fear.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying, is that
Yeah.
he was teaching me the lesson of I'm over here being intimidating. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna, and I'm like, but he's not doing anything. And it was also planned. They just said it was also planned that I wouldn't know anything about them either. That I was so I had no idea if he was gonna come eat me or not, right? I didn't know. But I got the impression that, that he wouldn't, but that's all, telepathic too. But they said it had to be kind of like a blind experience for me, so that I could, in turn, help other people with their blind experiences later.
So are you saying that they weren't even on your radar? You weren't even thinking about them
No,
at all until that
not
time?
at all. Not at all. I knew nothing. I had not Not one thought about Sasquatches the whole time I was at the farm. Not one.
Mhm.
And how did you know, hopefully I didn't miss this point because my little puppy's distracting me here on my lap, but how do you know that it was a Sasquatch talking to you? How did you figure that out?
Because the instant he started talking to me, I knew it was a Sasquatch talking to me because of his vibrational signature, first of all, because every being in the universe has their own vibrational
Yeah.
signature that cannot be faked. So my
Mhm.
pineal gland said, Holly, that's a Sasquatch talking to you right now. And I went, oh, I don't think that's an owl. I think that's a Sasquatch. And
Mhm.
then
Okay, I get that, yeah.
yeah, and then I looked for physical things around so I could go back later and physically look for evidence that it was a Sasquatch. And there was no other thing that it could have been physically either, because there was no branch for an owl to be sitting on. And the eyes are way too huge and way too far apart to have been an owl. And I reenacted it. I reenacted it with my friend, Chris, who came over, who was the co-creator of the Sasquatch Researchers Organization. And they're out of Minnesota and Wisconsin. And so we reenacted it. And I do have a photo of him standing under the exact spot. And I can
Mhm.
show you when we get to the photos portion or whenever you want me to. I've got a picture of him standing under the same spot. And he's 6 feet tall and his eyes look like teeny little pin pricks. And they're super close together. And the Sasquatch's eyes were just like saucers and they were way further apart. And then there was
Mhm.
also sticks woven around the tree in that exact same spot where he was, and his face was right in the square of sticks. And then, of course, I had continual ongoing experiences with that clan for the rest of the summer, and I saw them many times, and I cast
Mhm.
tracks, and Chris came over and he showed me what they had been doing on the property. There was an active clan on that property, and I actively interacted with them for the rest of the summer, and it was
Mhm.
just a unbelievably cool experience.
Cool. Absolutely. Absolutely cool.
Did you say their face was woven into the sticks?
No, he was behind the sticks.
Oh, he's behind the sticks,
were,
okay.
the sticks were woven into a frame, framing his face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta put this guy out, but anyway.
Well, he's so cute. How old is he?
He's
Like 8 weeks now? 9?
he's maybe 10 at the most.
Okay. He's pretty
And
active.
he's
He's puppy, 100% right there.
Yeah, he
well, I
is.
call him, his name's Charlie, and we call him Charlie Manson when he's like that.
Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh, do you
Okay,
want to see the picture of Chris
I
reenact?
do. That's a good
Okay.
time to show that picture.
Okay. Let's see
So
now.
share screen?
Yeah.
I can send a request to you.
No, okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay. And then I don't know what that means from there, but I'm gonna
There
go
you go.
find the picture. Oh, where's my okay. Well, I'll have it open over here in a different tab. Here they go. Okay, yep. Okay. I've got my folder right here. I got my picture right here. So I'll take those things off, take that off, take that off, put that up. Okay, am I sharing? Can you guys see my screen yet or not?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here is the picture of, let's see if I can make it any bigger than that.
It's
There's
down
a
at the
zoom,
bottom there. Yeah.
yeah, there's a zoom feature here on the photo, but it's not
Not zooming.
I have to make it full screen, I think. Let's see. Is this full screen now? There. Okay, now I should be able to scroll down and get to there we go. There's the plus. There we go. So you can see there's Chris, and he's marked at the height of his head is, if he was standing up straight, can you see it
I,
okay?
no, I don't see
No,
anything. I don't.
no.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me go back to the meeting and uh choose to share my screen. So hold on. There we go. I'll share my screen now. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's
No.
coming up.
Okay.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay. Okay, so let me move my thing over here and move my menu over. There. Okay, so here is Chris. He's 6 feet tall if he's standing up straight. Okay.
Why do you make it big so that Oh, no, actually, then we can't see us. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, go
What?
ahead.
Make it bigger. Make it bigger.
No,
It's
I was gonna say do the whole picture, but doesn't matter.
oh
Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Is that better?
Good for
Yeah.
me.
Is that better?
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. So here's like I was about 70 feet away from the experience when the experience happened. So I was back about here. I was standing, I'm standing where I was standing when I took the photo, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then so can you see how all the sticks are woven up
Right.
against the side of the tree?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was right inside this little frame right here
Right.
where his eyes were. And that's
Yeah.
about how big his eyes were and about how far apart they were. And
Mm-hmm.
this is Chris right here.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I guess I didn't have a picture of him looking at me straight on, but you can imagine how little his eyes would have been
Sure.
compared
Right.
to those
Yeah.
eyes. And how much closer, and he's 6 feet off the ground. So those
Mm-hmm.
eyes were, 8 feet off the ground at least.
That's
Right.
always good when you're 6 feet off the ground and not 6 feet under, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, and
Especially,
look at all the woven branches and things around. So
Beautiful, yeah. It's typical
yeah.
Sasquatch stuff. I've seen the same kind of stuff a lot up here, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that was the evidence that it wasn't another animal.
right.
Yeah.
Because there was because there was that. Do you want me to keep
Right.
sharing or I do do you want me to keep sharing or just stop until we go to the next picture?
Yeah. Go on. Keep on going on. Going on.
Okay.
Just whatever you want to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me go back to my next let me go see what I got next on here from that experience. Okay, let's see what I got next. I'll get my menu out of the way so I can see what my next photo is. Oh yeah. Well this is so the course of that summer I got to hang out with the whole clan. And as soon as I became aware, so Chris walked me around the whole property and he showed me what was what with the whole property. Well, but not the whole property because we missed this. I'll get you a better picture of this. These are turning out. Maybe they look really dark on my computer
Oh,
screen.
they're beautiful. There, I can see
Oh,
them
okay,
just
okay,
beautifully.
perfect. Okay, good. Then I won't worry about my stupid screen. Okay. This is my one of my favorite all-time things I've found in the 9 years or whatever I've been working with Sasquatches because I didn't find this till August. I found out they were there the end of May, and I did not find this until I think I found this in early August or late July. And this was like 70 feet off the driveway. There's a big long driveway that goes into that property, and this was like 70 feet in off the driveway, but it's also only about 150 feet from uh, another person's back door. So to the left of this, over here, about 150 feet, there's maybe about 75 feet over here is a line of trees that they planted at the back of their backyard. And then to the left of that is their mowed residential backyard and their house. Okay. And this is like this humongous blind sitting right outside their backyard. And humans, it's just evidence of how oblivious humans are to Sasquatches being around them. And this right here is 6 feet tall. Right at this point right here is 6 feet tall. So this
Are
is like,
we're not seeing the pictures. Are you?
oh, you're not?
I
No.
am.
What do you
I
mean? You
am.
are?
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
I'm not seeing it.
Hmm.
Weird,
Well,
okay.
Okay, now, but you're the host. So maybe as host, you should click on a thing that says all people can share so that you can see. Can you
Well,
change your
then
settings?
why can Tom see it though?
That's what I'm saying is it's working for him, and it's because you're host maybe that you can't see it.
he's just
We want you to be able to see it. Could you see the other photo earlier too, or not?
I did see the other photo, but I can't see this one.
Okay. Let me do a reshare on it again. I'll stop share and reshare. So I'll stop share and then I'll reshare again. Share my screen. Oh, wait a minute. I just saw something that happened there. Let me try one more time. When I push to share, I'm going to share this time now. Can you see it now, Brian?
I can, yes.
No, but hold on.
Okay.
Okay, now I can. Yeah, now I can.
Okay,
Hold on.
awesome. Okay.
I thought
Okay.
his eyes were just fogged over.
No, I know. No, now I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so this blind is it's I thought it was absolutely fantastic because it was right, like I said, it was only 150 feet over to the left is a mowed backyard with a house. And those people, I talked to them and they actually said that they heard a very loud scream in the middle of the night right outside their back windows. And I'm
Mhm.
like, hmm, gee, I wonder what that was from.
Yeah, what you know about that?
This was like 150 feet from their house. And this
Yeah.
is to give you a scale of this, this is probably 15 feet long, maybe. And I know it's not big as far as other people's. Well, if you live in a place where you got pine trees, if you live in the northwest of the country where you have the coniferous forest, you're going to get much more auspicious blinds. But here where we have deciduous trees and they're all smaller, our blinds are not usually as large as yours are. So
Mhm.
for the Midwest, this is a very elaborate, larger size blind. And what was really great about it is that every stick is woven on top or below another stick. Like nothing's just
Mhm.
set up against the structure.
Right.
You know, everything is inside, outside, around, above.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was just so magnificent to watch the intricacy of building that. And then this tree was not there, doesn't belong in that area. As soon as I saw this, I called Chris to come over and look at it with me, and he's like, yeah, you know, a true sign that children didn't make it as a fort is that you're going to find trees that aren't from the area, and this birch tree is not from right here. There's no birch
Yeah,
trees around
Right.
here.
Good
looks
point.
like, yeah.
That's the point
Yeah.
I've often made too. And I've also seen
Pardon me,
some,
Brian?
I said, that's the point that I've often made too, where they'll carry, kids are not gonna carry stuff in from great distance. The other thing I notice is sometimes I'll find a significant structure and I'll go back the next day and it's completely gone. Every stick and everything is removed and I can see a kid going and knocking it down and, just being a kid, right? But they
No,
certainly don't clean up after themselves, so.
no.
Oh, that reminded me
Um,
of something I was going to tell you guys later today. So I wrote the words completely gone down on my blue folder. Let's make sure that I don't forget to tell you about that before we end today, okay?
All right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so yeah, this was really fun, and there's also they also had a little and this was for deer hunting. I also realized the correlation that this was exactly even with the spot on the driveway where the deer were always jumping out at me when I drive by, no matter what time of day it was.
Mhm.
I mean, 8 times out of 10, I'd see a deer right there. And so
Yeah.
this was the deer highway, and they had their wonderful hunting blind. Back over to the left here, if you look back here, you'll see these little, there's some woven branches back in here, and they're
Mhm.
only about 2 feet off the ground. I don't know if I have a picture of that, so let me see what I have next for a picture. They had made a small the children had made a small blind
Mhm.
there, and
It
uh,
sure looks familiar, eh, Tom? The stuff?
Pardon me?
I said these structures, they sure look familiar.
oh
They
yeah,
sure
I mean,
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're obviously it's nothing new for you guys, but I
Mhm.
just wanted to share the fact that it was so boldly put so close to someone's
Oh,
house.
Oh,
They
yeah.
I
can
wasn't saying it for that point. I was
they
saying
Yeah.
were
it because it just shows you that,
yeah.
this is going
They
on
do
all
this.
over the place,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, because I mean, what I'm saying is like I questioned if I should put it into the podcast or not because you guys have these unbelievably huge structures out in the West Coast, that are just mammoth,
Mhm.
that are 60 feet tall and things, And I thought no one's going to be impressed with this, Holly. But then I
Oh,
thought, you know
that's
what? For the
That's a
place
nice
it
one.
was at, I thought it was very impressive for where it was at because they in the Midwest, if they're going to make a big blind, what I have found what they
mhm.
usually do is they push down a big tree and they use all the top canopy branches for a horizontal blind.
Mhm.
So the fact that they went to all the work and all the time to do this was just auspicious to me. And then back in here, you can see the little baby blind. It was only about this tall, and I felt like the youth had made this, and they would hide behind this one, and
It,
the adults would hide behind this one. So they weren't in the way when the adults were trying to hunt, and they could have their own
yeah.
little
I-
own little thing. And I
I-
did.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it does not necessarily the youth made that. The adults may have made that for the youth.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
okay, it
Okay.
could be either way.
Okay.
I
When I
don't,
was
I
there,
don't,
I had downloaded visions of the little youth like working on it to entertain
Right.
themselves while the parents were building the
That
big
could
one.
be, that could
I mean,
be.
I don't wanna, I mean, what you're getting is what you're getting, so it's valid, but
Well,
myself, I
yeah,
don't know if they would, I don't personally think that they would need a hunting blind.
no, that it was just for
Uh,
play.
Yeah, no, okay, you thought, you didn't mean that they were actually hiding behind there while they were hunting.
Oh, no, no, this is a hunting blind. This is for deer hunting. This right here is for jumping
Yeah.
out and getting the deer. The
Oh, it
adult
is?
blind
You've
is.
got the
Yeah.
whitetail will walk the same trail forever.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
okay,
Yeah. This is
so,
right
Yeah.
on the deer trail right here. The
Yeah.
deer go
no,
right
no,
here.
okay, I got that part, so they don't jump out in the road, but, okay, so
Right,
they didn't do this part, they just did the sticks all woven in,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this is
Mhm.
this is their hunting blind. They did not do this for fun. The adults did this to hunt deer and catch deer.
Yeah,
And the kids made a little mini one back behind here. I got just to keep them entertained while the adults are making the big one, they made their own little one. And then they would I got the vision that they would lay on their bellies back behind here while the parents were hunting officially over here.
yeah, that's quite possible. That's quite good
That's
observation.
what I had downloaded.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
and this was something that I just decided to put on last night that uh I found this at the highest point in the woods, that patch of woods where I saw King that was in between the two pastures on the
Mhm.
highest rock. The highest rock, it was just a big slab of rock, but why it's on grass, I don't know. It must have been a patch of grass on the rock in between rocks and grass. But I decided to climb up to this tallest rock in the woods, and then I see this there. And to me, it always seemed like a Sasquatch feces. It's not very large, so it'd have to be a youth Sasquatch, but I don't know. I just put it to show you guys because I just Googled bear scat last night and it doesn't look anything like bear
No, it's
scat.
not bear. The only other thing it could be is coyote.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
But I'm not gonna say that's what it is, but that's the right size.
Okay.
And, yeah, but it could be a Sasquatch youth too.
Okay.
It would appear much the same because it'd be the same type of thing, eat the same type of things.
Okay.
There might be more vegetation material in a Sasquatch, feces than in coyote, but, it'd sure be hard to tell them apart from the outside.
When I saw it in 2016, the message that was to me is that it was from a Sasquatch. And
Then I would believe it was.
then I heard somebody say lately that, and then this correlates. The reason why I brought this up is because we also got some poop given to us
Mhm.
from our current clan that I work with in Minnesota here right now, as well, put at a key spot that I'll tell you about later in the podcast. And then I heard another podcaster say that he was given feces as a gift as well. And I'm like, okay, I had not heard of that before. And so I felt
Yeah.
like there was a meaning behind it when I was given it. It was either like we are the king, like I put it on the highest point to show that we are the king, or that they were honoring me by giving
Yeah.
me an offering. I don't know exactly.
We found a beautiful, pile of feces, with Barb Shoup's group one time, and the lady who found it took it home, put it in her freezer, and her husband bought her a new freezer to put that in, so it wouldn't be with the rest of the food.
I actually took this in a Ziploc bag and gave it to Chris to go put in his freezer too. And I told him back then, I said, "Can you get this tested?" And so I saved it and I gave it to him. And I didn't know back then where to get it tested. And I figured his group might have a connection to
What-
that as well. But he was like, "Well, they're not
For-
going to tell you anything anyway. It's just going to come back unknown species." So
What'll happen with, unless you get it fresh enough that it's still wet and you can get, the wet material off the outside, then you can get DNA from the host. Otherwise, you're just gonna get the DNA of what's in the feces.
Oh, good to
Okay.
know. Good to
Yeah.
know. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
he never tested it. Oh, here's a couple more. Here's some more angles of the
Of this.
prolific blind. Yep, and then the little baby blind back here.
Uh-huh.
Just to show you a different point of view, just to let you see how big it was
That's,
and how tall
yeah,
it was, and how long it
that's
was.
cool.
Yeah, this is some tracks. The first two I wanted to show you in this order because the first two are from I'm trying to find the zoom for this. Here we go. The first two tracks are from that location. So the two tracks on the left I got at this first location. And so I was really really happy to get those. And
Mhm.
they were both in an area that was right where I always got what I call heebie-jeebie energy at dark.
Mhm.
Uh, it was right across the front door of the house,
Mhm.
in a little lane, and it was just black as dark back in there every night. And I always felt that they were watching me from in there. And
Mhm.
then I found these tracks, and so I cast them. So those are the first two tracks I ever cast.
And how long were those tracks?
I got them right over here. I think they're like 14 inches.
Okay.
About 14 inches. I have them
Mhm.
sitting right over here in a container too. I can hold them up if you want. But yeah, they're about 14 inches. And then the two on the right, I didn't realize I had this one put down upside down. This one goes the opposite direction.
Mhm.
These two are from my current location, so I can get to those. I can get to those later. And oh, this is okay. Now we're up to my current location, so I will um either talk about that or tell you my interim information, or just leave that up there until if you want me to go chronologically, I can tell you what happened then the rest of the summer at Minnesota, and then at the Wisconsin location, and then get you up to speed with this one if you want. Do you want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay. So I spent the rest of the summer with the clan in Wisconsin, and it was fantastic. On a regular basis, I would interact with them at night by way of my bright spotlight. I had a bright spotlight, and people say don't shine light on them and don't do all that. But I
Mhm.
had a lot of interactions with them with a light. And so I wanted to share that because I don't know, I think it can work in certain circumstances because what I did was I was actually scanning for my horses. So I got the light because there's no outside lights at this location, and I couldn't see the horses at night. And I would often
Mhm.
bring them in from the pasture and lock them in a corral at night and give them hay. And so I needed to know where they are so I could get them in. And I
Mhm.
also
I
sometimes,
I don't think there's any set rule.
well, there isn't because
I think respect is what, if you do things
exactly.
respectfully and what your intentions are, then that's okay. Cause I mean, I personally carry a camera around all the time and I've got
Yeah.
thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of pictures, as Tom knows. And, you know, I use that to
Mhm.
teach people and to share and lessons and whatever. And, so there's people, when people say you don't do this or don't do that, there's no set rule. But
I
can you
totally
guys
agree.
excuse me for a second? I've got to go to the little boys' room and I'll be right
All right.
back.
Absolutely.
Go right
Absolutely.
on.
What are you
Okay.
doing something, Tom? And are you in the middle of
No, I'm just
match or
trying,
something?
I just wanted to say that 14-inch track,
Yeah.
that was an individual that would be 91 inches tall and he'd weigh 588 pounds.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I muted Holly by mistake.
Oh.
Sorry, Holly.
She's still muted.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, so let me figure out now. 91 inches. I also, Tom, I also do have stats on the little toddler youth over here. And
On,
I wanted to figure out how tall the toddler is with you today too. So I have my
okay.
measurements of the toddler's track for us to go through.
What is it?
Um, let me see here. I wrote it down. Oh, I've got to get my I've got to I actually have to get my tape measurer to measure my finger. I wrote down measurements per my finger.
Uh-huh.
I have to put the tape measure up to my finger. be able to tell you. So hold on here.
All right.
I got my tape measure and okay, so the depth is to the first knuckle on my right hand. So the depth of the track was, now this is in the snow with the frozen ground. So the depth might not be on track here, okay?
I just need the length.
Oh, that's all you need? I thought you
Yeah.
were going by length and width and depth now.
Oh, I can figure that all out from the length.
Oh, okay. It's the length of my hand. Okay, so hold on. And then width to knuckle in pointer finger from tip of pointer. Okay, length of hand. Okay. Length of my hand. Oh, I figured out this one was around, yeah, the length of my hand is, I have to look at the pictures of the track. We can specify it a little later when we get to the pictures of his tracks. 6.25, 6.5 inches long.
Let's use 6.5.
6 to 7. I thought I had measured his tracks at 8 inches long in the actual track, but of course they might be a little longer. Somewhere between 6 and 8 inches long is his foot.
Okay, you want to use an average, just 7-inch?
Yeah, let's just go with 7 and see what you get.
Okay.
And see if it's about what I guessed him to be. And then I figure out how many tall 91 inches is. I got to do the math on that. 91 divided by 12. So
I'd make him just short of 4 feet tall. Okay. 7 times 0.4 is 2.8 wide times 7. 2 sevens. Six. That's 19. 6 times 7.5.
I'll find his tracks. Here's a track right here.
Uh,
There's my track. My track is 12 inches
45,
long.
48.
I'm supposed to close out some other things. So let me just close this out.
9 times 6.
Let me just close that out there.
40. 67.
I think he's probably more like, but we'll see.
Okay. That 7-inch track would make him just short of 4 feet tall, and he would weigh about 147 pounds.
Okay, that's about my size.
Mhm.
But I think he's okay. I have to go measure. I have to go see. I feel like he was like around 3 feet tall. Would that match if we went with the smaller track size?
Oh,
If we
well,
went with the 6-inch track?
the 6-inch.
If he went with
Yeah, that'd 6 times 5.
okay,
30,
because you know how your tracks get bigger than your real feet?
39. Yeah, that'd be 39 inches tall.
Okay, that's what I imagine him being. And I think that the track is always a little larger than your actual foot.
Well, yeah, because you're looking at the damage on the soil, not the foot.
Exactly. So I imagine him to be about 3 feet tall in my mind, and that's exactly what you're getting there, just over 3 feet tall.
Yeah, 39 inches. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That little guy can jump 4 feet, left foot to left foot. He can go from his left foot, he can land again, he can take off. Now, I don't know if you understand how hard that is,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
you go
Believe
out
me.
and you stand up right now. You try to take off on your left foot and jump on your left foot up in the ground, out of the ground, in the air, I mean, 4 feet, or go across the land 4 feet on that same foot that you just jumped off the ground on. Go forward 4 feet and land again on that same foot.
Don't try that, Thom.
I've given up on that stuff now.
A human can't do it. A
No.
human cannot do it.
So
So
how long was that track again? About 8 inches?
no, it's more
Oh.
like no, yeah. The actual track from tip to tip is around 8 inches, but I figure his foot's got to be probably around 6 inches long.
Yeah, I remember one time Randy Brisson and I were in the snow and in the backwoods there, and we saw the tracks of a mother who was carrying a little one, and every once in a while we could see where she put the little guy down. He took a couple steps,
Mhm.
and this track was only about 4 or 5 inches. This guy was still hanging on to mama and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. See, yeah, because this guy's a toddler. They told me last summer, I believe this might be his feather. I have to remember this just showed up on my floor a couple days ago, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be out in my horse trailer. What's it doing on my floor? So I don't know how it got there. And this is one of the feathers they gave me for the family members last summer.
Mhm.
This is a little big for, I think this is a little big for the toddler. I think the last feather they gave me was just like a little piece of fluff like that, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I think this is, I think this is a family member. It's awful, you know, just a piece of fluff. I'll just put that in the maybe pile. Then later in the day, I downloaded, oh, it's an infant. They have an infant. And this is the infant's footprints right here. That's the
Yeah.
infant. And these are all in Minneapolis. So I'm skipping ahead to Minneapolis now. But this is the Minneapolis toddler. And we just started seeing his tracks in the snow this winter, in the
Mhm.
snow. So I don't know if he wasn't old enough to be able to be babysat and be left unattended without parents there until now, or if we just didn't see his tracks because they were so much smaller. But I could very clearly see the two brothers' tracks all over the property, and then once in a while a big adult track. And I
Mhm.
know between the mom or dad's tracks. And I've got those cast like 2 feet over here. I've got each of those brothers' tracks cast, so I know them, and I can show you a difference in the tracks. So this is the
I,
top.
I, I think generally, if you're seeing tracks, generally they want you to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. This is older brother's tracks. This
Mhm.
is the I think that's the biggest track I have. That would be the Yeah, this is the oldest brother. And his track is I just screenshot this from a video, so it's not the greatest quality, but I wanted to show you how the toe points
Mhm.
over the edge on his track.
Mhm.
And my cast of his foot, I'll grab it for you. It does exactly the same thing, which is so cool. I've got foot casts from him from last summer. So yes, they're like, you know, they left me enough of a trail where I know who's who. So that's older brother who's babysitting the toddler. And then I have a middle brother. So this is my actual cast of older brother's foot, and it's broken off. I gotta glue it. I don't know. The cats must have jumped on it or something when I wasn't home. So this is the cast of that foot right
Mhm.
there that's in the snow. And the cool thing about it is the metatarsal break is so deep. I just love that about it.
Mhm.
So it actually goes this way in the ground. So this is the low part, that's the front of the foot. And then that's the heel part of
All
the
right.
foot. And I just loved that of it so much. But I also love how his foot, I can always tell his foot because it's got a real wide toe.
Mhm.
And then it's 1.5 times the length of my hand. So I know this track all around the property, and I've been watching him all summer. And then this is his little brother, and his feet are not as big as this cast because the plaster went out of the bounds. His foot actually is only the length of my hand.
Mhm.
And what I liked about this track was how deep it was right here. This is the
Mhm.
little outer part of the foot where they do the outer swivel as they swivel their feet out a little bit when they walk. And that's another thing you can tell Sasquatch tracks so easily because they have a little swivel to them. The heels will point out a little
Right.
bit in the track. And so here's his little outer foot swivel and how deep it was underneath the outside of his foot. That's
Mhm.
all the footprint right there. It's like a good inch deep in
Yeah.
the ground.
Mhm.
But yet his foot's only the size of my hand. His foot's smaller than mine. This is middle brother. And I downloaded, and before, this is so cool because before I even heard from Thom that they have their children around 7 years apart. I had downloaded that older brother is a younger teenager, so I
Mhm.
guessed around 13 years old. And that, well, I didn't, he just said, you didn't guess, you downloaded. Correct. Okay, fine. Downloaded. And so, and then I figured that younger brother was 8 or 9. And then I found out from Thom that they have their children around 7 years apart. And I'm like, oh my God, that works out perfectly in age. And then the toddler is like, if he's, you know, just maybe 2, something
Mhm.
like that, maybe that would
Mhm.
be the right age. That would be a pretty good span of age there. If we had 2
Right.
and 14, ta-da. I just
Okay.
went, wow, this is so cool because this stuff I didn't know is correlating with my physical reality, which I think is just the coolest thing in the whole world. So, okay, so anyway, I've had lots of fun with physical tracks and things. So anyway, yeah, I spent the summer in St. Croix Falls with this clan in 2016, and then I had some intern time. I had to leave in the spring, and they were all gone. But I was back to talking about the spotlights quickly with you guys for a minute. I just want to talk about the spotlights. Now, do you see something else? When I stop screen share, does it go back to my full face, or do you see this other weird screen of pictures?
Other
You want me
weird
to stop
screen.
share?
Okay. Oh, just put it back on share. So,
Well, it's
well,
still
share
on
my other
share.
screen there. Can you see my screen again of my pictures?
There you
Okay, so anyway, so yeah, so I just wanted to talk briefly about that location before I leave that location that they I had so much fun interacting with them with my light. So I would just like be scanning for my horses, but I would also like I knew like there was a corridor in the woods that went right out from the back door of the house where they could watch us and watch the yard and watch the horses. And I knew during the daytime which trees were my hotspot trees, energetically speaking. And so then at night I would go and I would scan, but sometimes I would just stand out the back door and I would just stand perfectly quietly and just shine my light out at the woods. And then they would pop out from behind the trees and they would interact with me. And then once in a while, I would get a cool experience where we would just lock on and they would just stand there and they would just stare at me eyes to eyes. And we would just commune our energy and flow our energy back and forth for quite a long time. And that's like my favoriteest thing to do ever. Because, well, of course, it would be more favorite to be interacting with them that way during the daytime. That would be the number one favoritist. But this is my second favoritist. So, so they did that a lot with me. And so I just wanted to share that with other people because maybe they can start getting to know their clans a little bit better if they started to do, it was their choice to come and let me see them in the light and interact with me in that way. And I got to see I also didn't know at that time that they can't move their neck like a human. And I wrote in my log that I saw them moving their heads like they had a neck brace on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it's because they don't know that they can't do that. And so that was also really credible. So that was some of the coolest things I saw. And then I was away for a while at different locations. Then I settled to where I am now, and that's actually back where my hometown of Minneapolis. And so now I have gosh, three clans in Minneapolis that I'm interacting with, and a clan in North Dakota, and I just picked up another new clan a couple days ago at Willow State Park in Wisconsin as well. So, but this is a really active clan here. The one here where these pictures are is my really active clan here. I did it. They've been here the whole time. I've been at this location since 2019, or my horses have been here at this location since 2019. And I was thinking about Sasquatches. I was feeling them in this one spot where I felt like they watched from. After a couple years in, we moved the buildings to a different location on the property. And when I did that and changed the locations around of where the horses would go, then I started to feel these hot spots by there. But I just felt like they were probably just passing through. They were like on their night hunts and they were just coming by because Sasquatches are everywhere. You can have a Sasquatch watching you from anywhere in the world, or anywhere in the country. I didn't realize that they actually lived right there until this summer. Then something happened, and for some reason, I feel like the father of this clan had taken it out of my mind, probably. And then he like gave me the thought this summer, like maybe you should go investigate a little bit. And I'm like, yeah. The reason why I never did was just because this is kind of off the property, and so I didn't really think to go inspecting around property that wasn't the property of where my horses are, but I did. I decided to do it anyway, and I started to find really awesome evidence. And that's when I got the two tracks. Like the very first day I went to investigate. So obviously, they knew I'd be coming. They left me some evidence to cast, right?
Absolutely.
I want to show you what they did to this one location on the property, which is right by right by where I interact on a daily basis. This tree here was standing, and then one day it wasn't. And this is the top of the trunk up in the air, and the bottom goes way down over across the horse fence. And they've been doing this once a summer, and I was oblivious to it. I didn't realize till this summer, wait a minute. They're the ones pushing the trees down over the fence every summer. So I'm on to them now. And I came back one day and here this is pushed over and I'm like, oh my God, it's just it's cantilevered. Like it shouldn't physically be able to stay up in the air. The base of this tree should not be able to stay up in the air, but they have it propped just perfectly so it can. Obviously a mind-blowing feat of physical abilities. And then here's what they've done to it over the summer. All the different things they've added to it from this side to that side. They wove this tree around underneath, and they wove all these branches in, and then this branch was put here, and then they took out the top of this tree. As you can see, there's a top to the tree there, and now there's not. It's gone. They added another tree that wasn't there in the back. They put a log on the ground. So basically, like, you know, they completely remodeled this whole corner in the course of about 2 months' time. It was really fun to come every day and see the individual changes and weavings that they did, especially this one. I love this one where they wove it around on top of that tree after they pushed it down. So it was just something really fun to share with them every day and see what they did. And this is a sighting I had this summer. I don't know if anyone else has ever reported this, but has anyone else ever reported seeing them change the color of their eyes in this manner? So the left eye starts changing first and it goes green because the eyes are yellow. And then all of a sudden you see a green wave of color that goes from here, that goes across this eye from left to right. And then it moves and starts going across the right eye and goes across the right eye like that. Can you see my face and my finger as I'm going?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever seen one change their eyes that way?
No, I have not.
I
That's
have not, no.
that's unique to me.
I did.
That's
At this
cool.
exact spot right here where I have the two eyes dotted.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew my freaking mind. I'm like, what? I'm sitting on a tractor and I'm mowing and it's after dark. And all of a sudden, this one I saw peeping out at me because I'm good with lights. I know where to look now. I mean, I've been doing this a long time with them, with many months in the summertime at my first location. So I as soon as I knew they were here, I started bringing my awareness up and watching for them watching me. And I was mowing with the tractor and it was after dark and my headlights were very bright. And as I turned the corner, bam, my lights were on this little patch of trees here. And I saw one watching me from these trees. And I stopped the tractor. And then I pretended to just be fooling with my phone for a second. And I was just sitting there, eye spying I think it was a him. And all of a sudden he realized I was watching him and he froze solid like a stick. He froze like, oh my God. And then as soon as he did that, whoo, green, left to right, washed over his eyes, green, because he wanted to blend in with the leaves. He thought, she won't see me if my eyes are green. But the way he changed it was just so cool. It was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I was just like, what? This happened.
That's amazing.
It was...
I've heard of like godlight coming out of their eyes from some of the more, the ancient ones or whatever. Like some of the advanced gurus can have actually the light of God. They can fill their whole body up with light, and then you can see it coming out of their eyes. Sasquatch can definitely do that. Some of them.
Cool.
But I've never heard that eye color thing before.
And going from left to right, like one eye at a time. One eye, the other eye. I was like,
I think you're right. That's what I feel too. It seems like he was trying to camouflage himself.
Oh yeah, he was, because and the same thing happened to me out in Medora, North Dakota this fall. I was interacting with a young female, and on the second interaction with her, because I told her I want to meet her every night. Let's meet here every night, same time, same place. And she actually came back. But when she came back, she had her brother with her. And her brother was eye spying me from over on the side, and he had yellow eyes. And when he realized that I could see him and I knew he was there, he immediately changed his eyes to green as well, to melt in with the green. But I want to show you what they did with the tree. So I had my sighting here. So then the next day I drove my truck out there, because this was about maybe 200 yards away from me, and from the road it's quite a ways. And so I have an access point that can access this with a vehicle. So I went outside and drove around it with my truck and drove right over to here. And I walked into this area right in here and went and inspected and looked for physical evidence of my sighting, and saw the same tracks that I saw on the other side of the property. So I saw the same size tracks again, the same Sasquatch tracks, but also some adult tracks over here. And I saw a trackway coming right through here. There was a trackway in the grass going both directions. And so I was all excited. I took videos, pictures of all that. Came out the next day. Bam. There you go. That's what they did.
Yeah.
This is a 60-foot tall oak tree. This oak tree is humongous. They twisted it and bent it over.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Do you know
takes,
how hard oak is?
yeah, that takes such amount of torque. It's unreal.
There's no
Do
way.
that.
There's no way. There's no way this could happen. They twisted it and pushed it down. And this canopy goes on for a long ways. You can see how big the tree is right here.
Yeah.
This is an 80-year-old oak.
Mm-hmm.
And just like it was a piece of a noodle, just like it was a noodle, over it went. Right underneath the spot where I walked, right where they have there's their trackway. There's a track right there. You can see them in the grass.
This was the next day?
Yeah. The next day after I investigated. The next day after I walked through the barrier. I walked under the barrier. I went to their side.
And obviously no wind, because those tracks wouldn't still be in the grass if there'd
Like
been
I
wind.
said,
Well, that's not wind.
Well, I get the day-to-day data. I knew there wasn't a storm. I knew it wasn't windy because I saw it happen the next day, and I knew what the weather had been like.
Yeah.
There was no weather at all.
They have the ability to shapeshift into anything they want, or even change their, what do you call it? Cells isn't the right word, but to change to change the shape of things, including themselves. Now I'm wondering, that might have been a feat of strength. I didn't say that very well, but you know what I'm talking about. That might have been a feat of strength, but they might also be able to do that just by focusing that energy on the tree, that they want to change it so that it snapped like that. I mean, that's possible.
That's possible, but
that's very possible.
It still takes it takes a lot of what I don't have to do it.
Well, I asked them how they did it. I need to retune, but initially I tuned into how they did it, and I really feel like they used energy to do it.
Right.
They just said like energy. They have theories that energy built the pyramids nowadays. They're coming up with energies at certain frequencies. You can levitate really heavy things off the ground.
Yeah.
They're researching the science of that nowadays. On if you have a certain sound frequency, you can levitate anything. And
that's what I was getting at. That's what I think they did.
Yeah,
they changed it. They changed it with energy, probably more so than with brute strength.
That's what I was getting, some of that they did that. Another theory was that they had several of them that were hanging on, but they said, but you can't twist it that way. Yeah, that's harder to twist it that way. Yep. And so if it goes like I had got a message, well, maybe like 5 of them were sitting on the tip of the branches, and they weighted it down so it would fall over and fall down. And they just said nope, smaller branches would just break off. They said the trunk would not break. The smaller branches would break off, and they would all just hit their asses on the ground.
I think it's an energy thing myself.
Yeah, I think it is too. So we started having tree wars here over the summer, and they started pushing down really big trees on the other side over here on this side of the photo, there was another area. That's the original woods that I saw them in. And I'm like, dudes, you guys got to stop doing this. Like, I just sat there one day and I said, my horses are not going to have any shade come summer if you keep doing this. They need these canopies. You cannot keep pushing down these trees, dudes. Like, please stop. Okay. They pushed one more tree down. They had to have the last word. Okay. This one right here. I came the next day, like 2 or 3 days later, they pushed the dead portion only of this tree.
Yeah, they got the message.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
this is just the dead portion, okay?
Yeah,
They didn't
no,
push
I get it.
the portion, but I also wanted to show you how they pushed it at exactly the same angle
Yeah.
as the big oak tree from the summer.
Yeah. That's good, because the more you notice the subtleties and stuff like that, the more they show you. That's
And
good that you're attuned to all those things,
yeah,
because
so,
there's a lot of information
yeah,
in their lessons, right?
yeah. So this was on the same point of the compass, like this point, like to the same degree on a compass as well, like the same
Yeah.
degree. What's interesting about this is that this little piece here of this, I couldn't figure out why they did that, and I'm like, what are you doing that for? Like, what's the message with that? And I couldn't get a message on it at the time. And then about 2 months ago, my friend Crystal, who I'll get to her stuff next at her house, because hers is the really fun, exciting stuff that's been happening. My friend Crystal's house, who's right next to this property here, she lives right nearby. She spotted somebody trespassing on this property, and she took a photo of the person to report it back to us. And bam, where were they? They were walking under this tree right here. Several months later. So, yep. And so I know the story about that person, and I've got my eyes peeled out for that person as well, because they could be a person that could be eavesdropping on my Sasquatch communications, because they had their some things they were doing on the property that could cause them to be able to eavesdrop and watch things going on this property. So the Sasquatches were warning me about that, like, 6 months ahead of time. So this is the peanut butter lid. When I first started gifting them, I got 6 little teeth on this lid, and I think it was just the cutest thing in the whole world. And the 6 teeth actually are matched up on the side of the peanut butter jar too. I have the indentation of the same 6 teeth. And when I measure that bite mark, it's about twice as wide as my bite mark. So it was really fun to be able to get some definite data from that. I do have a video of the clan father from, if I would really love to show you guys. Do you want to watch the video of my
Sure,
sighting in
I
October?
do.
Okay, but well, I'm not sure how the sound will translate though. Do you need sound?
No, there's no sound. It's a quiet video.
Okay.
So this is
The silence should translate well.
Yeah, so I'll put it on full screen. So there he is. There's his eyes watching me. Oh crap. Let's get this warning system out of the way. I'll start it over again. Okay, so what happened was I had been working here for a couple of hours doing some fall chores, getting ready for winter, and it got into the dark hours of the day because I'm a night owl and I always end up being out at dark. I'd been to my truck to get something out of the truck. I turned around to come back in, and bam, there he was watching me. And I knew instantly it was him. I thought, okay, this is the father that I've been talking to telepathically, who talks to me 24 hours a day telepathically. As soon as I knew that I was in this location, they were in this location, he just started talking, just like the elders do all day long. It's like he's just like popping in all day long. So I'm like, okay, I knew this was him. So this is really fun. So I finally remembered to get my phone out and record. So there he is looking at me, and he looks
We're
away.
talking about the eye shine there. Yeah.
There's his 2 eyes, and I zoomed way in. There he is again, and I zoomed in like halfway through. I zoomed in, so you can see the 2 eyes right there. There he is. There's his eyes. I can freeze it at that spot at like when I zoomed in on his two eyes. There, see the two eyes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
And that's different from any other animal. I know this because I've done this all summer with them at location 1. But I also reenacted it. I'll show you how tall he was. And when I look at this on my phone, I can actually see body parts moving with this. I can't see it on the computer screen, but I can on my phone. I can see a leg or something in the front going down and then pulling back up again. And I'm like, I don't know what that would be, because I think he might have been picking up one of the youth that was watching me. Somebody might have been camped out there, right there in the woods watching me, and they might have been stepping up over a log and leaving, and then they were like heading out. Like he might have been coming to pick up the kids, because I don't see how it could have been him, because he we reenacted it, and he would have been, and there's some blow-ups of the eyes. I blew up, but it's real fuzzy because I haven't done it with high quality yet. But there's a big difference between his eyes and deer eyes. And so here's where we reenacted it. Me and Crystal reenacted it later, and I put a face on a stick. So she put it backwards. It still looks like a face, though. There's like two eyes and a mouth. But I had drawn my own eyes and mouth on the face to see how small they were compared to his eyes. But I actually traced my own face on a piece of paper, but she put it up backwards. But that's the exact same spot that he was in. And this is how tall off the ground he was. This is where he was standing. It's 8 feet up to the eyes, to the top is 8 feet. The
Good
usual
job. Excellent job.
And her and I were discussing how, that could have, if it could have been a deer right there. No, it's real steep, and there's a drop off, and like it just doesn't make sense. And so that was really fun to have the correlation of the size be the 8 feet. But the other really fun correlation that happened that day was, oh, I don't have that on here. Do I have that on here? I can find it for you guys. So we're standing right here, right? And we're working on where to stand. Crystal's working on where to stand. And I'm over at my other location, and we're talking on our phones. I'm like, okay, go up a little bit, go down a little bit. And she's like, well, she had a spot picked out where she wanted to be. And I had originally moved her down about 15 feet from that spot she wanted to be at. And when we were out, I was showing her the chair that they manifested for me in the woods, which I'll tell you about that story next. So she manifested a chair in the woods. And we came back from that, and she goes, I really feel like I should be a little bit closer to you. And I said, okay, well, let's just do it again when we get back. We'll just reenact it again in the spot that you want to be at. And she goes, okay. So we went back to that spot when we got back, and she looks down, and she goes, Holly, could this be urine? And knowing horse pee in the snow, I instantly know when I see urine in the snow. And so I walked over and I looked and I went, oh my freaking God. There was a 3-foot line of urine all along the top of a fallen log. That was right there about where she's standing. It's right about, right over here from where she's standing. And I suddenly got a download from Tatankawa. X marks the spot, girls. I knew you'd be coming by today, so I figured I'd make it a little easier for you and mark your spot. And Crystal and I knew instantly that's what was happening. He was also proving he doesn't live in space and time. And he knew ahead of time we were coming. And it had just snowed that morning. This was the first snow of the year for us. And it had just snowed that only 5 hours previous to, about 8 hours previous to when we were there. And he made that nice little 3-foot line of urine. And she goes, oh my God, it's exactly where I had said. It's exactly where I said we should be standing. I said, well, he just thought he'd make it a little easier for us. So that was pretty awesome.
When you said you knew exactly, when you said you knew you were coming, you mean like because of the linear time thing?
Yeah.
You knew.
Yeah. Because they don't live in linear time, and he proves it to us all the time. They prove it to us all the time. They do something constantly.
That's a big part of my lessons. I've got many glyphs that I didn't know the meaning of until 5 years later. I look back on them when I had the meaning for the part I didn't know, and I said, oh, okay. They already knew that I was going to come up with that meaning, so they've proven it to me in many, many different
Yeah.
times, and
Yeah.
that yeah, obviously that's what happened with you there. What
Yeah,
an
there's the
advantage
three.
as a teacher, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do it constantly. He's been doing it since day one. They do it to
Right.
me every day, like all day, every day. They always do stuff ahead of time. All the
Yeah.
time. He
Yeah.
marks on the ground and I'm thinking a certain thought and I walk over and I look down, I see the leaf. So, but you know, so, and I wanted to point that out that that is not normal human level consciousness. That is way higher than a normal human. If they can know something ahead of time about you, that is the same consciousness as a non-physical spirit guide level being. And they are doing that with their lower self consciousness. Like
Yeah.
people in bodies, souls in bodies usually do not have that ability in the human world. So aliens do, higher level beings do. So they have the consciousness of, and they don't have to be, the Sasquatch just said, and we don't have to be evil. We don't have to be Nephilim. We don't have to be the devil. We don't have to be
No.
anything bad in order to be able to do this. This is a sign of almost every other, almost, I don't know about almost every other. They're like, you don't know. Like, well, that's true. I don't know what's out there. Everything I've heard of, almost any type of beings that I know of and have heard of, they all can do that. This is a human
Yeah.
thing, a human construct where we're stuck in 3D and we're stuck in linear time. We're like the old, some of the only ones that are.
Yeah. Well, I know a guy who met a fully enlightened man, and this guy could see your whole life as soon as he looked at you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's all about energy and vibration, understanding. He could look at you, and it said it was like almost like a holograph over the person. He could see from birth to when you got married and everything that happened right up until death and whatever. And
Could he
my
see the
friend,
future before it happened?
what's
Could
that?
he
My
see?
friend went, what?
Could he see the future before it's happened too, or was he just seeing all the past lives up to the now?
No, he saw everything. He saw right up until his death.
So he knew when the guy was going to die?
Yeah, and this fully enlightened man, and my point is, has that ability, right?
Yeah.
And the Sasquatch have that ability.
Yeah. As a human, we can do parts of that. Like, there's something called the Akashic Records, which is the every thought you ever think never dies, and
Yeah,
it's housed in this they call it the Akashic Record. So you can look
yeah,
up timelines of anything. So I do a lot of that in my readings with my clients. I read their past, present, and future as well, and I do a lot of that, and I put that all together to get a picture of their life and where they are right now. Because many times they want to know about their future, but their past is what's creating their now, and I have to work on that with them, and I have to put that together all the time. And I'm getting a lot better at it after doing it for many years. But so like it's out there for us. We are able to do all that. And so like the fully enlightened man, he's probably one in like, when I say, I should clarify it, I didn't say humans. I wanted to say it's not that humans can't do it, and I'm sure there are a few on the planet that can, like a few thousand humans probably on the planet can do everything that we can do with our consciousnesses and are running these apparatuses to their absolute maximum. But there's probably only a few thousand of us on the planet that are that far along with our consciousness. But it's not that we can't, it's just that we're not there yet. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Super fun. So they also knew something ahead of time with me in the forest with this story. Here, I wanted to tell you guys quickly about this one because I thought this was pretty cool. So they led me to this special grove of trees that were jumping out to me. And I was uphill from there doing some gifting. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna go down there and see what that is. Because Tatanka had told me, stay on the trail. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Does that mean stay only on the trail because I'm on in your side, in your woods gifting you? What does it mean? And I saw kind of a faint trail leading down to these trees. And I thought, well, maybe I'm supposed to just follow this trail deeper because he kept telling me it was time to meet. He kept telling me it was time for us to meet up and for me to seek him out and find him and come meet him. And I'm like, okay, but dude, I got like a busy schedule. So can you tell me like when you want to meet and where you want to meet and I'll be there. But I don't really have like 5 hours, to go sit in the woods and wait for you to show up because I got a lot of stuff to do. And so we kind of go back and forth about that a little bit and kind of just banter jokingly back and forth, right? So I keep thinking any day now, maybe he's just gonna be there, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's gonna come out. Maybe he's gonna talk to me down there. So I'm gonna go down and see if I can meet him. So I walked down and I came around from this side over around here by way of the family circus sun route where I dot to dot through the forest. I saw a deer stand. I walked up into the deer stand, checked it out, went down a fallen tree over here, and I was walking down the ramp of the fallen tree they had pushed down, jumped to the ground and came walking around. And I was thinking to myself, it'll be a lot more comfortable if I had a log, if I sat on that log up at the top of the gifting spot, because I don't really want to sit on the ground underneath this big old tree here. Like, I don't want to sit on the ground all day waiting for them. Be a lot more comfortable if I had something to sit on up off the ground. I walk around to about here. I no sooner figure I finish that thought and I'm right about here. And all of a sudden I'm like, are you freaking serious? You cannot be serious. This cannot be happening. What is that?
Yeah. That's a form of mind speak. It's thought placement. I get that all the time. It's amazing, isn't it? You have a thought and then that chair's right there or whatever is right. It's incredible.
Okay. So this is what I think happened. So, mind speak is just telepathy. That's all that is. When you say thought placement, what are you saying that is when you say that's just thought placement? What are you saying what happened there? Are you saying
I'll get a thought in my head. I wonder if they left something for me here, or I wonder if it's like this or something. And I get the thought and then the answer is right there.
Right.
Like
So this is what I feel is happening when this happens to us. What I feel is that they're quantumly creating that thing, or they know ahead of time. So they can quantumly.
Well, of course they do, yeah.
Yeah, they can create quantumly, which means instant material things can appear. Because they have the ability to work with energy to that level where they can just instantly do that. And they also know ahead of time what you're going to be thinking at that time. So for this day, what I downloaded, what happened to me on this day was that they knew I was going to think ahead of time those thoughts. And they knew I was going to be right there. He knew all that stuff because he doesn't live in linear time. And so he had already had that chair waiting for me. I don't believe it just appeared there. I believe it was there when I entered the woods, and he had put it there because he was expecting me to show up. They knew I was coming. And they have two branches right here. Like the whole thing was placed and woven. They had prepared this for me ahead of time because they knew I'd be coming. And
absolutely.
So they put this log here and that log here, and they go right with the back of the chair. And then this goes around it. And so like when you're there in person, it was like they made, and this is the most majestic big clump of trees in the whole forest around that whole area. So it was like they made a special spot revering me and like giving me respect and like showing like homage to me. It was unbelievable. And where they got the chair, that's my only question. I do not know if they physically got a chair from somewhere nearby or if they manifested a chair. The chair does have moss on it. I think if I reload this, it will bring up a clearer picture of the chair. Let's see. There it goes. Now it's in higher detail. So yeah, the chair had moss on it. The chair had not been there for any length of time. I put those sticks there. The chair had not been there for any length of time because there was nothing, Crystal noticed there was nothing down in the ground. Like the feet of the chair were not down into the ground at all. And there was nothing growing around it.
And there were no leaves on it too. No leaves on it, and those are freshly fallen leaves.
Yeah, no fallen leaves, and it's perfectly level. Okay, but then so then the next day was when we did the reenactment with the 3-foot thing of urine, okay, and the fresh snow for the year. And so the next day I came back again, and it had been snowed on, and so then we did the reenactment, and I brought Crystal around to show her the chair. And I said, sit down, check it out. And when I did that, I got a twinge. but I did it anyway because I want to be polite and I want to share. I don't want to say, no, you can't sit in it. It's just for me. Okay. But I didn't ask them ahead of time if it was okay. And I just said, check it out. See what it feels like for you. See what you think. And she's like, oh, yeah, this is really cool, Holly. She was a little bit uncomfortable. She's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. Sit down, try it out. So we did that. Then we went back out and we did the reenactment with the 3-foot urine. We found the 3-foot urine on the log. And I came back the next day to check out the chair again. It's gone.
Yeah.
The chair is gone. When I saw the chair was gone, I felt like I was being punished. Like, you weren't supposed to let anyone else sit in that chair. That was just for you. But I don't know, because you guys talked about how the next day something's gone.
It could be. They often take stuff when they leave stuff personally for us. Quite often they'll take it away.
That's what
after the point is made. So it could be either way.
I proceeded to have a conversation with them when I sat down in this chair the day before. The reason why they might have just taken it away was because, and I don't even know if I can tell you the story without crying. They're giving me crying and they're putting crying in my throat. So when I sat down, you guys knock it off, okay? Knock it off.
Yeah, it's okay. We've done a lot of crying on this. Well, I don't think
telling them to
has,
knock
but
it off. Yeah, okay.
maybe
Yeah,
when he
so I'm
banged his
sitting
knee
in
or something. But
okay, good.
Go.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the chair, and all of a sudden, and so I was communing with them, thanking them, getting telepathic messages from them, and all of a sudden I realized off to my right, so about over here, off in the distance, they were doing some fake bird calls, and then off over here on this side, they were doing like fake duck calls. And I'm like, they're here, they're around me. And I felt like there was maybe like 15 of them, like there was a lot of them that had all come in around me. And then I started talking to them, and I was just communing with them for a minute and just sitting there. And then they gave me 10 from over on this direction, 10 chirps in a row over here. And I went, you know? Because 10 in angel numbers means you know something without knowing how you know it, which is claircognizance, which one of the 4 clairs, right? Sentience, cognizance, clairvoyance, and
yeah, you mentioned that. You sent that to me in an email.
I sent it to you on YouTube.
I've got
it on the YouTube video.
I've got two of them pretty strong. What are they again?
Okay, so clear sentience is clear feeling.
I've got that.
Clear audience is clear hearing. You have that. Every human being has all of these to some degree. We're all born with these. These are our natural senses. So we got clear. I started with, what did I start? Clear sentience is clear feeling. You're definitely going to have the feeling, because we can all get a feeling when we're not supposed to jump off a cliff. We get a feeling we're not supposed to go down that dark, that back road at night, and then we end up getting stuck with our cars and we have to call for help.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean, I get it so that it's like energy nudges, and it's like big time.
Yes.
That is very developed in me. But what were the other ones?
That's very
not
clear
so much.
sentient. Okay, so clear hearing, that's the telepathy. Clear sentience is the clear feeling.
Yeah.
Clairvoyance is the clear seeing, so that's seeing the unseen. So that's using our third eye vision, which is right here in between in our forehead, right here. That's our third eye center. And then we have the claircognizance, which is clear knowing without knowing how we know it.
Yeah, I've got the clear knowing, and I've got the clear.
Oh, you got them all. You guys, both of you
Well, but
guys.
those two are the most pronounced, right?
Yeah. Now, most people are usually like really clear sentient. So most people are strong in either clairaudience or clairvoyance, and most people are not strong in both of those at the same time. They're usually dominant. They said the Sasquatches just said it's kind of like being right-handed or left-handed.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's super clairaudient. I think for you guys, you'd probably say you're more clairaudient too, because you hear your telepathy messages all day long with your Sasquatches.
Well, I get them through energy. I have had telepathy from them, mind speak, but I've only had it maybe 10 times. I get more energy downloads and knowing.
No. You get it all freaking day long. You just don't call it that. I guarantee you, if I teach you what telepathy really is, you would tell me you get it 24/7 all day long, and a lot from your Sasquatches. You just have to learn to know what you're doing and recognize it more.
Okay.
And I hear you guys on these podcasts all the time. You guys go, well, I've only had that mind speak one time. And then like 2 minutes later, here's Thom last night going, Oh, oh my God, that's the most magnificent rock I've ever seen. I know that those go together. That's just blowing
Yeah.
my mind. Please send those to me. I need to see what those are. He's using telepathy that entire time.
Yeah, that's kind of thought placement too, though, can come into that, right?
Well, you mean that he created that
I
the
mean, well, no,
podcast?
they put the thought in his head so that he,
Oh, that's
for
what
the
you mean. That's
result.
telepathy. That's telepathy.
No,
That's
I get that, like, I mean, I get that all the time. Like, that's
see,
like
To
all the
to
time.
me to me
see.
to me thought placement is I think I better do this task. And I hadn't been thinking about it at all, but it's
That
something they want me to do.
that's telepathy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I get
Everything.
that a
So,
lot.
yeah. So I
Mhm.
think before Tom says he has to go bon voyage,
Yes,
you can probably stretch it another 5, 10 minutes, right, Tom?
I can catch that's another 5, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
Because
want me to
Tom
tell you
has
the
to
rest of
go
what happened when I was in the chair quick?
yeah,
Okay, I'll
quickly.
bring
And
you.
then I wanted to ask you a personal question, just your thoughts on it that my wife had, but go ahead. Yeah.
Sure, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I want to.
by the way, that sure thing and what happened there, I just recognize it from so many different things that have happened to me. Like it just, it's them to a T, it's perfect. It's their MO.
mhm.
It so is. And I've heard all you guys, say all the cool things. And I've heard you guys, all your stories as well and all that. The only thing is, I don't know how I got there because I wasn't walking along the path and then suddenly saw it. Or like,
Mhm.
walking on the path 5 minutes before, turn around and go back. Like your previous guest had the red notebook show up in the
Right,
forest for her to
right.
write on. And the
Yeah.
other guest had the pencil sharpener and the pencils show up. So, we know, but
But
that's quantum manifestation. And I really don't have a problem with them doing that. I'm sure they're really good at that. And that is basically taking energy and making it into a physical form in a quantum instant manner. And once we get to the level of consciousness they're at, we can probably do that as well. And they're probably just really good at that. I
well,
think
I
maybe
mean,
the more
yeah.
evolved, advanced ones are.
Mhm.
I mean, every experience I've had, there's always lessons in it.
Oh,
There's a
exactly.
lot, there's a lesson in here for you. Like when I said they can change their shape or change the shape of everything, I've seen a big boulder out in the woods, way back in the woods where I actually saw Ari for the first time. That has got his bust carved into it. And I don't think they did it by hand. I think they just changed
No,
the
they
shape
didn't.
of that. They just changed the shape of that rock. And his face is right on there. And I'll show it to you maybe.
I can't wait to see it. That
Yeah.
sounds
His
fantastic.
face,
Oh my God. That's so fun.
his face is right on there. So they can virtually change anything or have you perceive um, anything, oh, physically, no, they can have you have any audible, sensory, or visual experience that they want to give you.
Yes, yes.
And
And
there's no question
as
about that.
as you were talking, they were saying, you guys can too. We're just
Yeah.
not there yet.
So I wanted to
But
ask you, I've had a really long, and I don't really need to ask these things because I feel it too, but just from your insight, they told me one time, quit asking all these people questions. We're connected with you. You know the answer. But I still kind of like, it's still kind of like nice feedback and fun, right?
I still like
So,
physical confirmation as well. I understand the same thing. They do the same thing to me.
yeah.
Do you
So
want me to
anyway,
the
well,
rest?
we just recently moved here, and the clan has been slowly reaching out, and we found an area that we were guided to, where they're doing structures and all different kinds of things. So they've got that thing going on here. And they left, like a footprint right at our front porch, and different things. Last
Oh,
night I
what
heard a
about
really,
those?
last night I heard a really neat screams or howls last night about 3 or 4 in the morning that I can only say had to have been them. And
I got that it
uh,
was when you were telling me that because they do the same thing here at about the same time. And I was thinking, I think that almost synced up with the ones here syncing up with me here, owl calling with the same time you said you heard it.
yeah. So my question is so, I mean, I have my own ideas, and whatever happens, happens. But what do you know of the clan here, and what do you think? What do you think of them, and what's in the future with them?
Absolutely. Do you want me to do that right now, or do you want me to do that when Tom leaves and then tell you the rest of my chair story
No,
now?
do it
Which one?
now. I want to hear.
Okay. Okay. Let me tune in. Okay. So the clan for you there. Okay. So let me get grounded to that information for you. So,
It might have to, RE might be involved too, I'm not sure, because he's kind of
well,
like
he
the,
did say earlier to me as I was getting ready for the podcast today, Ari said, um, doesn't matter where he lives. I can show up wherever he is. I mean, I can travel there quantumly and just remanifest my physical body on his property, and I can hang out with him there too, just as easily as I can there. But he is
well,
saying
and
that
he does.
he is saying though that it's time for you to expand to some more. So he is saying that he's taking a little bit of a back seat and he's allowing these other souls to turn up their volumes around you and interact with you. They're telling me now, the Sasquatches in your clan now are telling me that they have different gifts to teach you. They said they have different specialties. They have little pocket specialties. I'm showing at least 5 of them that have little pocket specialties, and they said we have been sent to work with you. So like they've got like their fortes of what they like to do and what they like to work on with people, and that they are all sent to teach you. And so Ari's going to take a little bit of the backseat for that for a while, but he's sitting here like this. He's going, oh yeah, these are my peeps over here. They're rocking it. Like they're his students. He's sending his students out to go work with you. He's still in charge. He's still large and in charge of the whole goings on. But he's purposely, he said he's buttoning his lips. He said what he's doing is he's buttoning his lip a little bit because he wants you to expand your psychic abilities by working with the other Sasquatches, because that's going to increase your consciousness frequencies. And so you're going to become more expanded, because he said you're really good at your connection with him, and he wants you to now take those same abilities you did with him and apply them towards the other Sasquatches. And he said that's why we're meeting up right now, because I'm supposed to coach you on that. So anytime you have questions or need help, I'm here to help you, and we can work together in that capacity. So we'll help you get all that going and get all that rocking, they said. And your wife as well, she's got plenty of abilities, they just said. Plenty of abilities of her own to work with. And also, I did talk with Thom the other day about him starting to work out of his body. So when he goes to sleep at night, his assignment is to start intending that he go hang out with the clans. Like I saw him working with me and Tatankawa, the father of my clan, and it was Thom and me and Tatankawa. And Thom was there out of body. So he's supposed to start traveling around and start working on his astral traveling skills. So he might end up coming to work with you too, where you are. Thom might show up as well.
Well, then I don't.
There goes a neighbor.
Skip that. We get that idea.
So you have very exciting adventures to come, and I'm really excited about those different Sasquatches. They are ready and waiting to work with you, and they are super excited. They said they want to tell you. They said to both of you guys, they said, trust yourselves no matter how subtle the messages seem to be.
Hang on a second. Is that for me and Sue, you mean? You're talking? Or Thom and me?
Sorry, I forgot about your wife. I was thinking you and Thom, but you and Thom, they said, trust yourselves no matter how subtle the messages seem to be. Put them in the done pile, like, okay, that's a message. And then
no, I generally, I mean, one of our greatest tools is discernment, but I generally have a lot of trust with them, and they know that, because that's how you move forward. Because when you start questioning everything,
yeah, they said they're gonna ramp it up with you. They said oh yeah, they know the level you're at now. They said they're gonna ramp it up. So
my point was though, is that when you notice stuff, when you're out having these experiences and you're getting started, and you're doing more than just looking for a monster in the woods, which they're not.
Yeah.
And they take an interest in you. If you start looking at the subtle things that they do.
Yeah, and so what happens?
Then they start to add it, then they will continue to do those moving forward and add other stuff. And it's kind of like going to school.
Yeah, and they said they're going to ramp up the subtleties to you guys. I don't know, it's some sort of a fine tuning. They're going to like be tuning your consciousnesses. So definitely you and your wife, but Thom as well. They're not leaving Thom out of this. They're like, just because he doesn't leave his house very often does not mean he's not included in these lessons. He needs to work with his consciousness, and that's actually part of his lessons. The fact that he is physically unable to do a lot of things is cutting that part of his senses off, so he has to work with his consciousness on a deeper level and keep working and expanding that part of who he is. So that's part of his journey as well. And for you, you have the physical, and they're going to try to tune you into your non-physical abilities even more, So they said you actually have to work on tuning out the physical so that you can get the telepathic messages really clearly and not oversensitize yourself and be bombarded with so many stimuli. So you have to kind of fine tune yourself to know. Like they said, like for instance, when I was walking the other day and I saw the footprints of late from the toddler, inside one of the footprints was an oak leaf. And my ego could say, that's just an oak leaf in a footprint, right? Because it's so subtle. It's on such a subtle level. But they put that in there. I know they put that in there because I've been working with them
Yeah.
for on a subtle level. And they said even if you don't know, Holly, put it in the done pile. That's what they're saying. If you're not sure, they want us to put our signs over in the done folder versus the is it that? And they said the reason why, if we question it and go, well, could that be? I'm not sure. It might be, might not be. They said if you keep doing that, you keep manifesting that level of frequency with your mind. And they said they want us to put it in the done pile and say, if it jumps out to you at all, say it is, and just throw it over there. Because
I talk about that. I talk about that in my book.
Awesome.
If you start trusting stuff, then they give you more and more. So I have one more trick question before Thom has to go. I know RE won't answer it.
Okay.
He won't answer it because I've tried to ask him this many times.
See. Let's just see.
He gives me some convoluted.
Let's just see.
He gives me some. When he said, I have a bunch of different ideas of what the word brother means. When he calls me brother, what are the different connotations of that word for him?
Okay, when he calls
and I know what.
Well, he said, well, you're definitely his soul brother. You know, up in between your lives, you guys are like brother souls.
I knew that.
Yeah. He goes, it's as simple as that, really. That we're connected as brother souls. And I'm in a human, he goes, I'm in a human. Well, he is. He goes, I'm in a human body, and so are you. He says, I'm just another version of human.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Boom. And so he said,
I mean, when he said that, and I've also heard that from other guys or whatever, sometimes it just means that we're united in our cause, you know, for our message.
He's like, no, that's like totally no. He's like, no.
No, I'm saying in some cases.
Oh yeah, but he's just saying like for him, he's like, that was lesser volume. Like, yeah, he goes, yeah, we are and all that stuff too. But it's really the soul.
And what's that expression? We're all that in a bag of cookies or something.
Yeah. But yeah, he meant on the core soul level, like you guys are souls that know each other. He said, oh my God. He just said, we have been brothers before. Well, he said, we are a former brother now. He said, but we have been earthly human brothers before too.
Human, like human Sasquatch or
like
human
he's
human?
Been human with you. You and him have been human brothers before. Like he wasn't a Sasquatch in that lifetime. He was a human in that lifetime.
Wow.
Okay. Like I said, we could have been Sasquatch. My friend Sarah, when she was 5 years old, I'm sorry, my friend Crystal, that was Crystal. My friend Crystal, when she was 5 years old, she would go out to the woods behind her house and push over birch trees. And she didn't know anything about Sasquatches having anything to do with that until 6 months ago. And she's this was 50 years ago when she used to do that.
Thom, I'd like to give you the opportunity, although you may not want it, but do you want to know what your connection with RS is, or what she thinks?
Well, yeah, I really would. I think I know what Akanisha and I mean to one another, but yeah, I would love another opinion on that.
Because I mean, I got good feedback on mine. I think it's only fair we do.
The first thing I got from Echinacea was heart chakra to heart chakra.
Yeah, heart to heart.
Heart to heart. It was really strong. He's really works with you through your heart. Heart to 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 heart, like super, just like my heart just hurts. There's so much love in it. He's just pouring this energy in my heart and then showering that directly to your heart. So you guys are extremely connected with heart chakras. He is like a spirit guide level soul to you up there in between lives. And in this lifetime, he said we will connect like that same way as well in this way. So he's like your spirit guide in between your lives.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
you're welcome.
That's so true.
He's bringing me to tears. Like he is so compassionate for you that I'm almost tearing up. It's
Mhm.
just very, 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 very love, 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 love with him and you.
He's been with me for so long and so in such depth, and he's fixed my heart for me.
His higher self. Oh my
Literally.
God, that's right. That's right. Oh my God. Okay, before I forget this, I
Yeah.
want to interject this.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten, there's so much we could get into, like their healing stories or whatever, and
Yes, I remember
just
that. I heard
amazing
that.
stuff.
I heard that with your they sent me to the right podcast. I heard about your defibrillator and how your heart is still AFib and they've been keeping you alive for 20 years and it doesn't even make any sense how you should still be able to be here. And but when you said he's been with me for so long, he said that about you as a spirit guide. His spirit guide self up in between lives. He was talking as your spirit guide. He said, he's been with me for so long. So he has been your spirit guide for, well, he said he is your main spirit guide. So
He is.
we have one spirit guide that's with us for every single incarnation we ever do, and which is an average of 1,000
Wow.
incarnations on planet Earth alone.
Wow.
And so he's been your spirit guide for every single one of your lives. That's how he knows you that well. But in this life, he's also sharing some of the experience with you and is incarnated as a Sasquatch as well.
Wonderful.
Oh, it's really cool.
Wonderful.
Wow. I'm so honored to be
I-
able to experience these messages with you guys. I'm just really humbled.
Honor is ours. Honor
Wow.
is ours.
Super
Did you
fun.
want to,
I
did you want to talk about quickly how the sound, we're probably going to have you on for another show.
yeah,
Well, that would be great.
I think
But,
we better do that.
But
I think-
how has the Sasquatch people changed your life since you've been introduced to them?
Oh my God. They
yeah.
have well, like I said, you know, with the first encounter in 2016, yeah, we didn't even get to the fun antics and things. So a part 2 would be very appropriate because I have all these. We didn't even talk about anything.
Let's
So
hold that for next time
yeah, we will.
because
So
I've got to go now.
that sounds great. Do you want me to tell you the answer to how they changed my lives quick before you go, or do you want to?
Yeah,
You know,
quickly.
they basically just opened up my consciousness. I was asking them about this before we started today, and basically they were saying that they basically are teaching exactly the same things as my spirit guides teach me. How they've changed my life is they said to tell you, they're like, well, we've changed the fact that she can understand that we can do these things in the physical. And it makes people believe that they can really expand themselves and do more than they thought they could with their physical shells, to see them doing it, because they're doing all the same things with my lessons and my consciousness that my spirit guides do. However, my spirit guides don't demonstrate it to me physically. And the Sasquatches are demonstrating things in the physical, like making things quantumly show up for us in our faces.
Right.
They're making us go, hey, if they can do that, maybe we can too.
That's right.
We can do everything that they can do.
Yes, that's the biggest reason.
Brian,
That's the biggest influence.
Brian, remember the time that Arishna got a hold of me and told me to get you under control?
Yeah.
That makes so much more sense now in light of what she said. Yeah,
No, that was our reading.
that's what I said. Arishna. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
At the next time, I'm gonna read you two guys, and let's figure out how you two guys know each other and things too. Let's do.
I'd love to hear. I'd love to
Well,
hear
come
that.
on, we can hang on for 5 minutes. We can
No,
hang on for that. Let's
that's-
close on that. No, no. We have
That's
to
gonna
close on
take
that.
too
Even if
long.
you got to go, Thom. Even if you got to go, you
Okay.
can watch the replay.
Okay.
So if your stomach's more important than this life,
No. It's just you keep going. I'll
it's lunch anyway. They don't have good lunches there.
Okay,
No,
I'm
they
gonna do
don't.
this one. Okay,
They
I'm gonna
don't.
do this. If Thom has to go, then we'll read.
No. Don't
No,
shortchange it. If he's got to go, he can hear it later anyway. Let's hear it.
I'm not going. I'll skip lunch to hear this.
Oh my gosh! Well, I'll send you a Venmo for some takeout food if you end up missing lunch, and you can order it.
He likes pepperoni and pineapple.
Missing lunch here is a positive.
Oh my god!
Or is it ham and pineapple?
Oh my gosh. I don't like to
Is it
miss a
ham and-
meal. I love to eat.
Is it ham and pineapple you like?
I just like pineapple.
Oh my god! Oh, I get it. Oh well, hopefully there's some left for you. Oh,
No, I'm not even sure they're gonna have it. They had pineapple yesterday, and I asked for some and they brought me a whole big plate of it. So I was eating
Yeah, I
pineapple
think
on
Okay.
it.
that's what I was getting at. They'll have some in the kitchen for you if you don't have it, if you don't
That's
get
right.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. So let's read you guys. Okay. So I'm trying to get to the level of before your lives and find out where you are.
I,
And so
I'm his daddy, obviously.
I need to
I'm his
ground
daddy.
to how you guys met. I'm sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
I said, I'm your daddy. I like it.
One more time. What'd you say?
He said he's
I'm
my
your
daddy.
daddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, he
Like
could be.
Arnold?
Okay. Let's see what's going on with you. Okay. So now I need to ground to this a little bit better. So how did you guys meet in this life? They're just saying guidance of fate. They made this jump out to me, guidance of fate. So it was they're saying you had a pre-life soul contract to meet up
Yeah.
in this life and work together as you are. So pre-life soul agreement. But I need to get some more information on you guys here. So
Can I say something as you're listening, or is it going to distract you?
No, you can say whatever you want.
I mean, they connect us with the people we have to meet, and they connect me with people who have to hear what I have to say. It's constantly ongoing. And Thom was
Yes.
probably the second person I met after a guy named Randy Brisson. So we were not connected by coincidence.
Right.
No,
So,
absolutely.
you know, that
Yeah.
absolutely, there's no way. I
No,
mean,
you're not.
yeah. So anyway,
So,
you know, so go ahead. I'm sorry, but I
no,
thought
no,
that
no,
was important.
that's all just fine. You can say anything you want anytime. I like interaction. Actually, interaction in my readings helps me. So, I'm trying to get to like, I know we all know it's obvious in this life that you're supposed to work together and you had a soul contract, but I want to find out like who you guys really are to each other, like behind the veil of this charade of this life. Because in this lifetime, you're playing the older man, you're playing the younger man. But I want to know, like, on a soul level, what you guys are up there. If you're friends, if you're teacher, student, or what you guys are up there and what you guys have done together in your other adventures and why you have this platform of working with consciousness and the Sasquatches in this lifetime. And so I'm going to try to tune into that kind of information here. So I need to
Leave out
ask
some
you,
of the more, some of the not good for public content, things we've done
sure,
together.
that would help me actually. The more you tell me, the more I can read on things on you guys.
No, I'm just saying, I imagine we've been up to no good before, so.
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me now, how many years ago did you meet and what was your relationship like right after you met?
We met in
12.
2012, and we started talking on the computer. I had a job at the Port of Vancouver and Graveyard, and I talked to Thom like, you know, all the time, and we just became, you know, good friends, and then things developed from there. What do you have to say, Thom, on that?
That's yeah, that's what it was. We were talking on the computer, and then I sponsored a conference in Richland, Washington, and you came to that. And that was the first time we met face to face. And you sang a song for me, a Ray Price song at that evening. And Arlo sang a song. Yeah, and then from then on, we stayed in close contact. And then Sue wanted to go to Canada. And so she asked me if I would go with her. And I'm sure I was the dueño uh, there because it was the first time they met face to face and knew one another. And that's how we, from there on, we started working together. He introduced me to glyphs, and I coined the phrase for what we were finding. And the three of us spent the next 5 years investigating those.
Okay. I was getting, when you were talking on that, what I was getting was that Brian really likes to work with frequencies in his lifetimes. He's very into frequency. And that's why he's into music in this lifetime, because music is frequencies, and frequencies are healing, and frequencies do everything. And that's him talking in his higher self. He's like, frequencies are healing, and frequencies do everything. So it's like, you're a big
Can I
frequency.
just ask you to do something, Holly? I'm sorry can you just take that picture off? I'm trying to get it off.
Oh, I didn't even
When
realize.
we're not looking, when we're not talking about it, it's
Stop
better
sharing.
to.
Let me stop share, and then you can stop sharing. There we go. Okay,
There we
so
go.
I never realized I forgot about that. Okay, so
Working with higher frequencies, yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right. So you work with frequencies a lot, and I just got a whoop of you like up in between lives. You were actually a teacher of frequencies, and I just got a blip of you teaching your students, and you're like frequencies are healing. Frequencies are everything. Everything is frequency. So you're teaching the newbie souls about frequencies and how to work with frequencies. So that's like a really big, like that's a huge thing of yours. And so you come down into earth and you also work with frequencies down here in many different ways. And one of them is music. And you're going to continue on your work with frequencies as you go on in this lifetime as well. And then when Thom said, from then on, we started working together, that was Thom. I got a blip of Thom's higher self saying that same thing. So it was him in between lives, and Thom's higher self was saying, yeah, and from then on, we started working together. So something in a past life brought you guys together, because what he was talking about in this one past life, we got together, we met in this one, blah, 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 and then from then on, we started working together. And that means in our subsequent lifetimes. From then on, we started working together in our subsequent lifetimes. So you guys have been working together in your lives. So you work together. It's not just like we're friends. Like you work together in your lifetimes. So there's things that you're working on, and I'm trying to ask them now, like, is there a common thread, or do you guys do something different in every lifetime? Do you have different platforms? Like, what are you working on? I'm talking to both your higher selves at the same time now, and they're saying, well, it has to be something for like the betterment of humanity, something for the betterment, for making and Brian's higher self said, well, making it a higher frequency, of course.
Yeah.
Increasing the frequency. That's what we work on. Oh, yeah. That would be a duh. Yeah, we work on that. So whatever increases the frequencies is what we work on. And they said, now nature is a really good way to increase the frequency. In the modern times, they said in the past lives, you didn't do as much with Sasquatches, because in past lives you didn't have the internet to be able to get your messages out. So in olden days lives, like I'm seeing you in like Europe with a big canopy of dark trees all around. Like there's some areas in like olden days, like I think it's called Russia now still, but there's like Russia, like the Eastern Europe, okay, where they have like these forests. They're like super tall, big trees.
The taiga, yeah.
And so like you were over there, like in past lives, the wizardry. They said in past lives we did a lot of wizardry. We would do a lot of things like that because we could, well, we could, but so we had to use like frequency to tune the earth. We did a lot of physical tuning of the earth, and also we did a lot of sound. I see you guys using like healing, like sound bowls, like like you're creating frequencies and things. Then, and in a past life, I see one where you guys had planned to live far apart from each other, and then you gradually moved together and met each other, because when there wasn't an internet in the olden days, if you lived farther apart, you could affect the frequencies better and differently, and when you're further away in the energy grid, and then you would come together later so that you could really magnify that. And so you're basically working on like the physical tuning of earth. And then let's see what else I was saying from that. Okay, so that was how you did it in past lives, bringing together in those days, because you didn't have the ability to get the word out. Yeah. So before you had the ability to get the word out, you would work on just physically tuning things, and working with that. Then now with the modern day message of the internet, I think this is your first life that you guys have had together where you've had the internet. This is new for you guys to be able to get your messages out in this manner. But I also am getting a modern day life a short while ago where you guys did it with pictures and photographs before. So one of you two has been a photographer in a past life, and so you had lots of pictures to be able to get out to the world. You guys just said we're always kind of artists. We're like kind of artistic, because they said, well, in this period of our lives now we are, when we're working together, and in these lives together, like in this chapter of your lives, you guys had lots of lives before without knowing each other. In your like 1,000 lives, you guys have not been together for like the whole time. This is kind of a last third of your lives here that you guys have known each other for. Before that, you guys had separate lives that were apart, but you've always, and as far as up there in between lives, like how you've known each other up there, I'm like, okay, well, have they known each other all the time then? They've just been incarnating separately, or how did they kind of get together? And so I'm asking, like, how long up there? Oh, okay. So Thom is actually the teacher soul, And Brian actually came along and he goes, well, it's not that, it's not really that. It's just that he was created after me. Like Thom was created as a soul first. He says, but we don't really have linear time, but we kind of have to say it like that. So Thom was a soul first. And so he's a little bit further along up there. And then Brian was created. And he said, well, what happened was Brian came up to the level where he started to get into my group of students. So I started teaching him as a student up there because we always mentor the other souls. We have like mentoring levels. So he came up into your level, and that's how you met him, because he was like evolving a way up into that. So that's how you guys met up there. And then you struck up a friendship up there too and went, hey, I'd really like to work together. And Brian was asking Thom, Brian's like, oh, Thom, I would really like to work with you on Earth. Like it would be really cool together. We could do a lot. Because he's, like I said, he's very into frequencies, and he was just really enthusiastic about you and what you could do up there. And you have some really special talents as a soul up there. And Brian he was just hell bent. It was just like, I got to work with this Thom guy. We have got to do something down here. And then he said, he's pretty funny. Your higher self just said, we struck a chord. That's a funny joke. Since it's music is your thing and frequency, we struck a chord. And so he's like, yeah, he struck a chord. And so Thom had some special talents up there that Brian was just like on it. And he's just like, that's it. We just have to work together. So Brian was just like campaigning to Thom until he's like, okay, let's do it. Let's get some. Cause Thom was saying, I'm too busy to incarnate right now. I'm sorry. I'm too busy teaching up here. I'm not really interested in incarnating right now. And Brian's like, no, well,
it's my fault, Thom. All your problems.
Yeah. So you talked him into coming down and being down here. And so Brian, Thom's like, okay, I can kind of turn away from my teachings up here and get going on some stuff down here again now. So that's kind of how it's been. And then it's been really, really fun. And Thom's higher self just said, like, I've really had a good time working with Brian on Earth. It's been really, really fun. And I'm really glad that he talked me into coming, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he even put up with my singing.
Well,
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's true friendship when you can do that. Trust me.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, I did a special little intro and whatever for I changed the intro for our video.
Oh, okay.
Singing,
Awesome.
I'm singing Neil, doing my version of a Neil Diamond song.
Oh, that's awesome. I heard that. I think I did hear that. Yeah, I did hear that for like one of the last couple ones. I heard it.
No, it's another one. It's another one.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I could tell it was you singing. So yeah. So that's kind of how it's going. And you guys are just having a ball down here, and you're really enjoying this internet in this lifetime because you can really tune frequencies and get the messages out. Oh, there was one other thing I was going to say. In the past, that I had forgotten what I was saying there a minute ago. In the past, before the internet, you guys were very much worked with the actual forests of the earth. So the forests of the earth have been an underlying continuance for you from olden days until today. You've always been really interested in the forest because the frequency of the forest is important for the earth.
That's why I love them so much.
Yes, you always have to have something to do with the forests. You're always working with that.
Yeah. Well, can you still make it to lunchtime?
Yeah, if I want to.
You should go eat.
Yeah. Did you want to finish that chair story or
Sure.
was there a conclusion?
Thom already knows it anyway. Thom already knows it.
Quickly put it back on.
One question more.
Yeah.
How much time do I have to finish the work I'm doing? Or should I start something new? Or should I just
they said you should definitely live in the now, and they said that it's kind of determined by you. They said you can shorten or lengthen your own telomeres with your own intentions and thoughts. And so they said if you continue to keep your vibrance in your soul, if you continue to keep your source, your God spark within you, then you will stay longer. So it said it's kind of up to you. If you decide to shut down because you're tired of being at Earth and you kind of want to leave, and they said you can shorten it by many years, or you can keep it going and you can lengthen it by keeping your spark going through your energy. So they said pull your spark in and keep going as long as you feel inclined to do something and you really want to get your messages out. They said no, that's your nudges. That's your higher self saying, keep going, Thom. You got a little bit more to do. Keep going. You had a plan for this.
I do have more to do.
I know you do.
You do. No, I gotta know. Now you got me going. Now I got a selfish little question here too.
Okay.
Well, I should say third book because I co-wrote one with Thom. But I've got my own book, and I'm into doing another book, and I'm about 140, 50 pages into it. How many books do you figure I'm going to do? Because that's what I'm thinking that they want me to do is write. And
I
that's
just
what
saw like a bunch of books behind that book. I just saw a line of books, like lots of books, like a lot of books. They just said a lot of books. Like you might be writing for the rest of your life. You might just keep doing one book, then the next book, then the next book, just like Thom's been doing. They said, how better to tune the earth than to leave a permanent fixture of your frequencies by sharing your knowledge in the form of a book. Because then when people in the future,
exactly.
50 years from now, are going to pick up that book and they're going to tune to the frequency you were on when you guys wrote your books.
Yeah, you know what's in?
I had sales in my last period in Japan. Can you imagine that?
What about your last period in Japan in sales?
I said I had sales in my last pay period in Japan.
Oh,
Yeah,
see? I
yeah.
was thinking SAIL. I'm like, what?
No,
Sales on
no,
a boat?
no.
SALES. Yeah, yeah,
Hang
yeah,
on,
yeah.
hang on just a second.
Yeah, the last boat trip Thom was on the Kontiki.
What's that?
The Kontiki?
Yeah.
You never heard that?
Uh-uh.
That raft, that big giant raft that went all across the oceans in the
Uh-uh.
ancient days?
No.
No. Oh,
Uh-uh.
you should look that up. Pretty
Okay.
famous.
I'll write it down.
Kontiki.
Okay. I'll write it down.
I think it's KON and then TIKI. I think it
Okay.
is.
Okay. Oh, it's shared the ocean. But yeah, the Japan thing is like totally, that's circumferencing the earth with his frequency. That's tuning the earth. What better way to tune the Oh, they just said, your higher self just said, what better way to tune the earth than for us to pump out books? Because then the books do travel the whole earth. They get out to the whole earth. And that's even cooler. That the podcast is great too, but the podcast is kind of an in the moment thing as well. And it does go out to the whole earth as well. But a tangible book is just going to sit there for like 25 years and someone else is going to pick it up. And then the chances that someone's going to watch this podcast in 25 years is pretty low. But
Right.
the chances they're going
Yeah.
to pick up a book off a shelf and someone's going to give it to their grandson and said, well, you're working with Sasquatches? Well, I have all of these books from Thom Control right here from, way back in 2027. Would you like to look at them? Well, yes, let me see them. And they've got pictures in them. Oh my God, look at all that.
Yeah. You know, I know, well, Thom obviously too, but when I write my books, it's their words coming right through. It's their teachings and their lessons.
Absolutely.
And I think it's so, and that's why I think these books are so important because there's not many books that focus on that. They're real, once you get beyond the footprints and the films and are they real or not, and get into the energy part and the teachings or whatever, that's where the real understanding of them and you comes into play. So that's where I think everything starts. The other thing is just a stepping board for people who want to take that step, which is not demeaning it because it's very important.
Pretty much every successful artist on the planet, whether they're a visual artist or a musician or whatever kind of artist, an author, a screenplay writer, that comes from being in alignment at that moment that you created that. And when you're in alignment, you are in tune and you're in your perfect flow. And your perfect flow includes the energy of source flowing into you perfectly. And so it's a perfect moment for you to receive their thoughts and to receive their intention through you. And so that when we create in that mindset, in that frame, that's when the best stuff comes out of all of us as artists.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it's never us. It's always them. It's like your human brain doesn't think its own thoughts. Your consciousness puts the thoughts in your head, and your consciousness gets the thoughts from the dimensions of the all-knowing collective consciousness and the ethereal dimension and our spirit guides and our guidance and source and whoever you work with. You don't just, your human brain, when you're dead, your human brain stops thinking thoughts. I don't even think there is such thing as having our own thought. Well, I guess there is if I'm thinking a thought to myself. That would be my own thought. But
Yeah,
I mean, where am I going to get ideas from I mean, it's like, to me, it's just a natural thing that it's coming in from somewhere else.
that's right.
We're channeling. Yeah.
Yeah, well, more so than we realize.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you start opening up and getting in tune to that, then you do realize that that's what's going on. Well,
Yeah.
Tom, are you gonna go off and grab something to eat or what?
No, she was just here. I told her to save me some dessert.
I
Oh,
thought
okay.
that's what you might be doing. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Did you want anything else that you wanted to touch on? We should
Well,
go pretty quick, but
I was just thinking here about in the past when I was writing, and Ikenisha would wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning with ideas of where I should be going with my book. And I told him, I said, can't we do this at a better time than 3 a.m.? He says, you're not disturbed at this time. I said, I'm retired. I'm not disturbed at 9 either, you know. But what I found out, that's the time of the highest energy level. And
yeah,
it was
It's
easier for
called the
him.
witching hour. Maybe that's why they call it the witching hour, between midnight and 4 a.m.
Yeah,
And that's why I'm always up that time of day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I heard last night. It was about just before 4. I heard those screams or those howls or whatever. It was pretty
I
well.
always wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. I might go back to sleep, but I'm always awake at between 3 and 4 a.m.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I know that they do that because what happens too is when you're awake during the day, and they said you can work on that. They said your Sasquatch guide just said you can just work on that. He said, try to work on having your filters more open during the day. But the hardest thing is once we wake up and start functioning as a human being, then our brain turns on all these filters. Okay, you're human now, you're in 3D. You can't accept this message because you're in 3D. You can't see me because I'm not here. So then your brain says, I can't see you.
And the world starts interfering.
Yeah. And when we're sleeping, what happens when we go to sleep is our brain turns the filters off. And it allows anything to be able to happen to us and us to believe it.
Yeah.
So we have to work on keeping those filters on when we are, or on off when we are awake.
We're sitting in the chair under the tree. What happened?
They said for you, meditation would work well. Oh, you want me to tell you that right now?
Yeah, go do
They
it.
said for who? For Tom, meditation would work well?
Yeah, for Tom, meditation would work really well for him.
Okay.
He can receive a lot more messages if he starts working on his meditation. And I can tell you off camera, I'll help you with some hints on how to meditate in the way
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, we can
Believe
work
me.
on that. I learned all that from
Yeah.
Robert Monroe, who was a great astral traveler, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Taught me how to meditate right. Okay. So I'm under the chair. Okay, so I'm out the chair. I'm sitting in the chair. I noticed the 10 chirps and I went, 10 means you know. And of course, they telepathically ping me, we know, at the same time as they chirp, right? So I'm getting the message that they're telling me they know about me. And of course, I know Sasquatches always say they know about us and they know our lives. But they were like really confirming. And I've been on a official journey since 2007 when I told the elders that I would take it. They were actually like verifying that. They were saying like, we know you have been on this journey. And I'm like, you guys know about that, huh? And they're like, yep. And then I'm like, Then my ego says, well, do I really know about that? Do they really know that? Was I really getting that? Did I really count 10 chirps? Am I making that up? And then all of a sudden they chirped 14 times. 14 is the year 2014. 2014 was the pinnacle turning point of my journey. That was the year when things turned and I could not go back to the past. I had made a choice and I had to continue on, like I said, 100% no fear. And that made some choices become unable to be going back to in 2014. So it was an absolute pinnacle year. It was also the year that the elders sat me down and had a talk with me and revealed some information to me that really made my journey make sense to me. And it was about future events coming in the world and how I play into that and what my role is in that. And I'm like, oh, so this is kind of what it's really all for then. Okay, I get it now. And it gave me the fortitude to keep going, because if I had not known that information, I probably would have diverted and let my fear take the best of me. And I probably would have gone and said, no, this is too much for me. I'm going back over here to my comfort zone. So I went, you guys know that. And then all of a sudden they just started squeezing my heart super tight. Like, yeah, we know that. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys know that. Like, I mean, I knew they know that, but what they said, no, we're correcting you. It's not that they didn't know it. It's the thing they said next that blew my mind. The thing they said next was, we know it. We're confirming it. We know it to be true. Like, we know the secrets that you know, and we've known them the whole time you've known them, and we know all about them, and we know all about what's coming too. And we are letting you know we know. And that was mind-blowing. I was like, wow, okay, wait a minute. The Sasquatches know about these upcoming things happening that are coming that I can't even tell humans. Because humans aren't ready to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they communed and they said, so here we are. I'm probably going to cry. It's so hard to say this. No crying. They're saying, you're more comfortable communing in this information with Sasquatches than you are with human beings. How sad is that? And they sent me like this huge sadness, like the human race kills each other over disagreement. They harm each other. They throw each other to the street. They cast you out. And we are here with full love and acceptance of everything that you are and that you know, and that we are happy to hear it. And we're totally cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, whoa, that's what was really cool. And then at that moment, they like hugged my heart super tight. Like, we're here. We're all here. You can talk to us. You know, I was just like, oh my God, that was just the coolest moment in my entire journey with them. And that's what the chair was for. The chair was to have that conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just the coolest chair ever to have that conversation on, because they wove it all around and made the special little branches and placed it there perfectly right there for me. And that they had that talk with me. So it was pretty cool.
Very cool. Wow.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. Very beautiful.
I'm standing here beside myself in amazement of today. I cannot believe how you've affected my heart.
Wow. Like, what do you mean? I don't understand really.
I would sit here another 3 hours and listen to you with no problem at all.
Oh, wow.
You have just done so much for me today. It's unbelievable.
Well, maybe we met at this time because I was supposed to relight your God spark. So you're like, okay, wait a minute. I'm renewed now. I got 3 more books in me.
Yeah. I know I have 2 more.
That's awesome. I have no doubt you'll get them done.
He's got a really good one going on now, but he's cheating. He's getting other people to write it for him.
Yeah, she's 35 pages of it herself.
How many did I give you? About 20?
About that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 2 months to write it. I had to keep scaling it back, and then
it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
I kept telling him I was done. I was almost done because I was so stressed out about it taking so long. And then I'd go and like, okay, I'm just gonna do my final edit tonight, and then it would turn into 5 hours of rewrites. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but I just have to get it just
I'm
right?
totally done with editing now. I'm just putting the pictures in.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. I'm really excited for that to come out.
When is that coming out, and what's it going to be called? Or do you
I don't have a title yet. Akanisha will let me know on that. And I'm gonna look at.
I got the title. Taught and Other Stories.
Taught and Other Stories.
That's my nickname.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to come out. I think
Not that my. Let's go ahead.
Going?
I said not that my stories are better than anybody else's, but I think it'd be nice in the title, right?
Taught.
That sounds awesome.
Taught in big bold letters and then little and other stories.
I think that sounds perfect. That sounds just perfect. Your higher selves are laughing, going, "That's typical Brian."
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no ego problem there.
You see, he's just exuberant. Come on, Thom. Come on, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Yep, that's so it. That's the best. Jumping
Brian,
around like
all,
Tigger.
all things being equal, I don't think I'll use that one. But I want to thank you so much, Holly, for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
It's
we
been
want you back.
been my absolute pleasure.
Yeah. It's been our pleasure. I can guarantee you that. And anybody who looks in is going to feel the same way. It's very seldom that I've ever reduced totally to silence, and and you did it today. So we do want you back. Brian, do you have something in particular you'd like to say?
Just basically same things you said. We're very grateful to have you. Sounds like oh, there was one thing I did want to ask you actually. Can I say that instead of saying something? Can I ask you quickly?
Yeah. I
So
don't have a time frame after this today.
Yeah, no, we do kind of have to go, but what are the messages and teachings basically they're giving you in a Cole's Notes version or Cole's
Okay.
Notes? Is that you know what that means? Abbreviated?
Yeah. The same thing that all high level beings teach. I was just gonna see if they have anything to add to that. They said that's all they have to say. It's so easy. Like the message is so simple. They're like, we are one, and then they just shut up. We are all one, and we must treat each other as such, and that there is such things as consciousness and frequency. And they said love. It's all about love, opening up the heart chakra and the love, and working from the heart. And when you do that, then you start to ascend. So they're here to basically teach us what a lot of human beings already know and understand, but we're trying to get the word out to everyone. And it's the same thing. Any kind of teaching you hear from any alien group and my spirit guides and them, it's exactly the same lessons. The same lessons you tell all the time, Brian. I've heard you tell them lots of times.
And know this, I love you.
Yeah. Love. It's
what are you proposing now, Thom?
Yeah.
I think he just proposed to you, Holly.
Oh my gosh, I accept.
Hey, this is an exclusive on the Pork and Pappy show.
I'm so excited.
Pappy, are you single?
I am actually, yes.
Are you?
Well, hey.
Whoa, that does light things up.
You just proposed to you, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, let me just see your bank account balances, and then we can talk later.
It's well.
Just kidding.
It's deflated.
Send me over some bank statements, and I'll let you know.
All right. I've been hitting about $130 a month, and
that's great because my limit
royalties.
is $50. If it's over $50, I'm a yes. So
Yeah, okay,
awesome.
we got a thing going here then, huh?
Okay, well,
you have to have a thing for really old guys that are crippled, though.
If your balance is over $50, it's a yes for me.
All right. We're on.
Yeah.
We're on.
We'll leave on that note. But when you guys talk or whatever, hopefully by the next show or soon, we'll have an engagement announcement and a date. A date and.
Now you got me crying.
It involves free airplane tickets to go Sasquatching all over the world whenever I want to. Then
there we go.
There we go. Isn't this amazing? We've done about 300 shows, or I've done about 300, and never had a proposal yet.
Yeah, there you go. The first is a first. That's right. Like I said, it's dependent on a private jet being provided, and tickets to anywhere I want to go, and then I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know her answer yet, Thom, but hopefully it'll be affirmative, and I'd like to extend you my congratulations.
That's right. Show me some videos of what you got in your bounty, and we can discuss it.
Yeah. Lucky he's got 10 fingers because he can't count all his wives on one, I don't think.
Yeah, there you go. And 10 extra toes to count on. I do know of a man once that lived to be 400 years old. Greg Braden had brought him up in his research, and that man had 20 wives over the course of his 400 years.
Had how many?
20 wives in the course of his 400-year life.
Oh my heavens, think of the child support.
I can't imagine. Yeah, he had a lot of kids. Yeah, and he's a documented person. Like they have his birth records. Like yeah, it's in. I think
Wow.
it's in the show Missing Links on Gaia.
Okay,
Wow,
all right.
amazing.
I've got to go see if I can get my dessert here.
Yeah, what do you got? Oh, I gotta go and dig up something too.
I'm gonna finish breakfast from a
All
couple
right.
hours ago.
Alrighty.
Thank you
Well, thank
so
you,
much,
Holly.
Holly. Yes,
And
thank
thank
you
you
so
everybody
much.
for watching, and we'll have you back on again, and thank you for your insight and your
Yeah.
and your readings and
Oh, it's
all
my
that fun
pleasure.
stuff.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'm so excited to have been able to interact with you in this way.
Yeah, and
Mm.
get a hold of me or whatever, because if you are, I would like to have some tools to maybe, I mean, I'm pretty open, but I know I can go a lot. I know there's
Absolutely.
more
Yeah.
and more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. You just bring me your questions when you have them, and we'll start. We can work on interacting in that manner. Like they said, now for you, they said just to fine tune it, because they're gonna start giving you things that are even more fine tuned and subtle. So just be ready for that.
So
All
get
right,
on
and
it.
the same thing for my wife, Sue?
Yeah.
That same thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
more fine tuned and subtle.
She's more
smart.
she's more finely tuned than me.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
watch out for the teachers, because you do have these new teachers around you, and each teacher has a specialized area for you guys. So I don't know what they're going to teach you, and maybe one will be specialized in glyphs, one will be specializes in frequencies and hitting your body with a frequency when you walk by. The other one might be visual sighting. So you'll have to see what each one of them wants to teach you about.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
For
Well,
me,
thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. I look forward to seeing you guys again.
Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So it was that I came to travel upon a road that was full and narrow. Another place, another praise would save me. You are the sun, I am the moon. You are the words, I am the tune. Play me. You are the sun, I am the moon. You are the words, I am the